kickoff from Feely. And we'll find out very early about the footing with Purdue getting the ball first. The way they feature their fullback, Todd.
It's going to be interesting because when they had a field similar to this at Penn State, Mark Allstott seemed to have his trouble, so you're absolutely right. A great deal of the offense is so dependent upon number 40.
And with the wind gusting, Feely needs some help, gets into it. It is going to be Lee Johnson losing it at the 1 to start the contest. That does a good job to get it across the 15, so the Boilermakers offensively coming out. First and 10 at their own 16. Copenhaver, the inside linebacker, making the stop on special teams. Trefsker, the quarterback, but he's going to need a lot of help from the tailback, Edwin Watson. Watson coming off his best day as a Boilermaker, though, a career best, 194 yards in the win over Wisconsin last Saturday. Alfred, the wide receiver, grew up in the suburb of Detroit, Oak Park, Michigan, the only wide receiver to catch a touchdown toss for the Boilermakers this year. And Damon Lewis, with his first start of the year, the offensive line banged up, and Mark Fisher, the regular left guard, he is out with an ankle injury. So the Boilermakers first and 10 out of the I, their own 16. Allstott. No gain on that carry. Lost maybe a half a yard. Horn there, as well as Fiesel. Defensively for the Wolverines, led by the young man out of Carter High School in Dallas, William Carr. Tops on the team in tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Butkus Award finalist, the inside linebacker, Jarrett Irons. He's out of the Woodlands, Texas. Charles Woodson, true freshman, starting on the corner. Not your basic true freshman, though. Mixed football in the state of Ohio last year. 2nd and 11. A loss of a yard for Allstott. Stuff going in the backfield early for Purdue.
Well, this is a good decision to defer with the weather the way it is. Michigan comes on the field and hopes and goes 3 and punt. Now they come up with a 3rd and 10, and this is not this does not bode well for the Purdue offense going into the win with a quarterback who's not that adept at throwing the ball.
That field position, obviously, Todd, very important in a game with weather like this. So 3rd and 11, back at the 15 for the Boilermakers. Jets to the southpaw, dumping it for Allstott. And he won't get to the marker. Only a couple of yards to 17. So 3 and out for Purdue on their first possession of the contest.
Well, Trefsker was really lucky just to get that off. And Jared Irons does a good job of pursuing Allstott from the backside. Very good sequence for the Michigan defense early on.
So now Monty Toomer getting ready to punt. Rob Degnan. He had problems in the Ohio State game. That's the only real game where they had problems, though, in the punting department, where he had 2 blocked and lost another, but scrambled to pick the first down with a bad snap. Flag on the play.
Oh, he slipped and fell. Look at that.
And a dead ball foul anyway coming up with a flag on the near side.
Well, the left tackle moved for Purdue, and that's going to move back 5 yards, and Degnan's got to be happy about that simply because of the fact that now he'll reestablish his footing and hopefully get the kickoff. Toomer only standing at 35 yards. Take a look right here at the left tackle. He's going to move just a little bit, just enough for the officials to see it. And take a look at the footing for Degnan. The left foot just slips. And that's not going to be the last time that's going to happen today. It's just difficult. The tarp only went out from 25-yard line to 25-yard line, so the footing is going to be particularly precarious inside the 20s on both ends, Joel.
You bring up a good point because it's been raining since about, 2 or 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So for the past 24 hours, precipitation in Ann Arbor. So now Degnan from his own end zone. The rain is now turning to snow flurries. Toomer stays away from it as it dies outside of the 45, just inside the 47. A 35-yard punt.
And, Joel, I was going to say that there he was standing at 29 yards. You can see the tarp earlier, as we mentioned. Take a look at what it's covering. Basically, about the 22-yard line to the other side is about the 25. So the so-called red zone is going to be the wet zone today.
So the Michigan offense, for the first time today, led by sophomore quarterback Brian Greasy out of Columbus High School in Miami. Their star tailback, Biaka Patuka, with a first down inside the 35 to the 33, a gain of 14. And the lineup with Greasy starting for only the 6th time in his career. How will he respond to this type of weather? It was cold in Michigan State last week, but nowhere near the precipitation that we're experiencing this afternoon. So that's the question mark going in for Brian Greasy. Look at the rest of the Michigan offense in just a moment. 1st and 10 Wolverines. Biaka Patuka once again inside the 30. Down to the 29. Good yardage again for Biaka Patuka on first down. Leo Perez making the stop. Mercury Hayes, their big play, their home run threat out of Houston's Washington High School, leads the Wolverines with a 20-yard average. John Runyon, second-team All-Big Ten performer. He's got the most experience up front for the Wolverines, the left tackle from Flint. Probably a gain of a little more than 4, 2nd and 6 now for Michigan. Started with the ball in Purdue territory at the Boilermakers 47. Line out. Biaka Patuka once again. Short yardage this time. Inside the 33. Washell, the right tackle, in on that hit. Defensively, Washell, according to the coaches, the senior from Greenwood, Indiana, playing the best ball of his entire career over the last 3 games. G.K. O'Keefer out of West Lafayette. He's only a sophomore, started as a true freshman, and now as a sophomore leads the Boilermakers in tackles. And another one who started as a true freshman, the sophomore Derek Brown, a real leader now in the secondary. The sophomore from Fort Lauderdale.
Joel, don't be surprised here on 3rd and 5 to see him run the ball, because I think because of the conditions, even with the wind at their back, this could be 4-down territory.
Movement up front. Biaka Patuka in trouble. And he loses if it gets it back and takes a lick at the same time outside of the 30, 32. Did we finally get a flag? Because it appeared that Perez, the left tackle, may have been offside for Purdue.
I don't see a flag.
No flag on the play. There was also movement up front on that side of the line, the offensive line for Michigan.
Take a look at the middle of the line right in here. Take a look and see if he jumps before the ball is snapped. Well, there was a little bit of movement, but evidently the officials decided that he did not encroach, and as a result, there is no flag, and Biaka Patuka gets the loss, and shows how much I know. They are going to try a 50-yarder, Joel.
It is going to be a 50-yard attempt for Rennie Hamilton. It'll come out of the hold of Remersma, the tight end. High snap is down. And does he get it inside the upright? Well, it was right on line, but short. So the 50-yard attempt comes up a couple of yards shy. Still no scores. We'll be right back to Ann Arbor.
We stood side by side with Mike Boren when he laid 90,000 feet of sod. We carried the team's equipment when Mike Jr. pitched his first game. Then we chauffeured the whole family off to Angelo's to celebrate. GMC Sierra with standard 4-wheel ABS and the same steel ladder frame built into our commercial trucks. It's a truck built for the way you live. Sierra is built for life. See the full line of GMC trucks at your GMC truck dealer.
Instead of looking back at Kelly Springfield's long, rich history, we prefer to look ahead. And we recommend that you do the same. Kelly Springfield, America's oldest tire company.
Can McDonald's Chicken McNuggets make you feel like a kid again? Can they bring you closer together? Can they give you a thrill? Can they be just the break you've been waiting for? Of course they can. Can they make you see double? As a matter of fact, yes. With McDonald's 2 for 2. 2 tempting 6-piece Chicken McNuggets or 2 McChicken sandwiches for just $2. So, can they give 2 empty, unfulfilled hands something very entertaining to do? Absolutely.
Have you had your break today?
Well, the good news, the rain subsided. The bad news, it's turned into the white stuff. And welcome back once again to Michigan Stadium. Joel Myers along with Ty Christensen. And the wind is really gusting close to 30, 35 miles an hour. 1st and 10, Boilermakers, their own 33. first time some of the other that All-Star is Edwin Watson. Not much there, a yard at the most. ESPN's presentation of college football is being brought to you this afternoon by GMC Truck, the strength of experience. Well, this is the 45th meeting in this long rivalry between Michigan and Purdue. It started all the way back in 1890, and before it's over, this one may rank in the weather category.
Well, I got to tell you, if this is the classic of those people that want to sit home and yearn for the days of Lambeau Field and Bloomington, Minnesota, man, you got it today.
On the Arctic tundra. Second and 9, and it's dropped by the quarterback, Tresker, the senior from Wickliffe, Ohio. So now 3rd and long once again for the Boilermakers. Their head coach, Jim Coletto.
Well, as we mentioned at the top, Joel, 252 yards per game. A lot of that padded last week against Wisconsin when they had 2 backs go over 190 yards, nearly 400 yards rushing for Watson and Allstott. Don't look for that today simply because of the footing and the weather. A freak play or a turnover is going to win this game, Joel.
3rd and 12 now. Not exactly when you feature your fullback. Allstott, the senior from Joliet. They're close to 50% on the year on their 3rd down tries. The delay for Allstott. A little more room for the punter. Past the 35 to the 37 as he's wrapped up by the end, Jason Horn.
A minor point here, Joel. To begin the game, if you remember, number 40 had short sleeves on. He was doing the manhood thing, you know, with the short sleeves. Now all of a sudden he says, hey, discretion's the better part of Valley. Very lucky just to hold on to that football. One of the few guys that you see skill position players now in college football that does not have the tackified gloves, but the long sleeves, yes.
They like the sprint draw at Purdue, don't they?
At this point, they like anything that'll gain yardage.
So the second straight, 3 and out with a punt now. Degnan.
Now, someone needs to point out to Toomer, he's too far back. Last time he was at 30 yards and it was short. Now he's standing at about 41.
And the wind is
Ball's never going to get there.
Of Degnan. Out of the north end zone. Dies inside the 30. So now Michigan starting in their own territory at the 28 as we check in with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Joel, you have snow, they have rain in Chapel Hill. North Carolina goes 3 and out, but they don't get the out. Mike Thomas, the punter, is also the quarterback. The kick is blocked and recovered for a Mario Edwards touchdown. Noles by 7.
All right, Noles trying to come back from that setback against Virginia in one of the best college football games I've seen in a long time.
They've got rain, we've got snow. You think they'll trade?
Chrysler Arena never looked so good from the distance. Back to throw, Greasy on 1st down. Reversma with a nice grab. He had the linebacker O'Connor right on his hip, but he's got it across the 35 to the 36.
You couldn't have covered any better than that. I don't understand how that ball was able to find its way in there. As you mentioned, O'Connor right in the middle of the field is right there. It's not like Remersma ran a great route. Watch the middle backer. Watch the middle backer right here. He's going to come over and be right there. He slips a little bit. Look where the hand is. It's right there, right on top of him. The ball still is able to sneak in there. Great concentration on the part of Remersma.
Second, had a couple. Bianca Batuka close to the 1st down marker, right at the 39. Well, ESPN is your home for college football, and later today, 5 o'clock Eastern. Warmer climes, Auburn heading to Georgia. First half of a primetime doubleheader. Then at 8 o'clock, it's Florida, number 3 in the nation, taking on the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Don't forget to catch up with all of today's scores and highlights of the Residents in College Football Scoreboard at 11 o'clock Eastern.
And Danny Werfel's starting in that one, right?
He is back.
Okay.
Under 7 minutes left in the first 15 minutes of play. We'll give you down and distance as often as possible early because late it may be difficult. 1st and 10 outside of the 39. I like it. The play fake for Greasy. He had his man wide open going for Mercury Hayes, but overshot him inside the 45.
The adage goes that the offense has the advantage on a field like that simply because they know where they're going. You saw Hayes on the short post. Greasy had him plenty of time, just didn't deliver. Take a look in the middle of your field. Hayes is going to be coming from the left. Look at Greasy as a result of the play action. Plenty of time. He just overthrows him right there wide open. And a 5'11". Hayes just can't get up. He does get hit at the end, but he had a good 4.5 seconds. But took a shot there from Jamie Weissel.
Bianca Batuka, as usual, breaks some tackles early on the run and takes it all the way to the 47 for a gain of 7. We go back now to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Joel, first drive on a windy day, Chestnut Hill with the rain heading that way. Good start for Miami. Ryan Clement, 56 yards to the backup tight end, Gerard Daphnis. Add the extra point. Miami looking to win a 6th straight game, leads BC by 7.
Thanks, Mike. Miami certainly turning things around after a sluggish beginning against UCLA in the first game of the year. Jim Coletto, Southern California, bundled up here in the Midwest. And now it's 3rd and 3 at the 47 for the Wolverines. Plenty of time for Greasy, and it draws a flag as he tried to hit the Agapatuca in the flat right at the marker. But a flag normally where you see a holding call.
It seemed like he had a little too much time there.
So Purdue will most likely decline, bringing up the punting situation. Michigan should be able to capitalize, you would think, with a wind at their back, and a big wind at that.
Holding on the offense. Deep high. Fourth down. I wonder if the temptation there, though, is possibly to take it if for no other reason than to get yourself some field position. Now the punter has an opportunity to get it inside the 20 and again play the field position game. So.
Head coach Lloyd Carr, 7-2 so far his first year as the head coach for the Wolverines. 15 seasons here, though, as an assistant under Bo Schembechler, as well as Gary Moeller, most recently defensive coordinator. And now Harris kicks it away with a flag down to the play. Bringing it back is Butterfield. And Butterfield, waiting for something to develop, gets it to the 17-yard line. And check that, Craig Allen rather bringing it back after a punt of 43 yards.
You know, Joel, even though the punters have the win, the footing is so precarious, you can see how careful they're kicking the ball. Now, if I was Purdue, I'd take that simply because you want to see if the guy can slip and fall again as the punter. If indeed they do take it, take a close look. Take a close look at how the punter is kicking. It's almost as if he's walking on eggshells. He doesn't want to slip and shank it. And Mike Allstott says, yes, pats the official on the butt and says, let's do it over again. That's what happens when you're all Big Ten. When you rush for 1,000 yards, you can pat the officials on the rear end.
And you make the call.
On the offense, does not have 6 reps, double down on the line of scrimmage, 5 yards, repeat 4th down.
Todd, did you like the work of the return man Allen for the mere fact that he was waiting for everybody else to slip and slide and possibly over-pursue the play?
Yeah, that was. But the one thing here is that he should be standing just a little bit shorter. Right now, well, he's right at about 41 yards. That should be good. What the special teams coach should be telling him is just run up there and make the fair catch and give us some decent field position. But take a look at the footing here. Watch the punter. Very careful. Very careful.
With the wind at his back, gets into a beauty. So now Allen loses it at the 10, scrambles, and still can't get it inside the 5. Michigan has the football. Coming up with it for the Wolverines. Their linebacker, reserve linebacker, Ben Huff, the sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Well, Peristeris does get off a terrific punt, but this is really a poor job by Allen getting after the ball. Now watch right here. He slips and falls right there. That should be an easy ball, but instead the play is made really there on the part of Mark Bullock, the offensive tackle. His hustle enables the recovery. Poor job by Allen getting the ball, but a great effort by Bullock in keeping it free so his teammate could get it.
So they took the penalty, and the punter really got into it. And it burns the Boilermakers of Purdue. So instead of the ball at their own 17 after the first punt, the gamble didn't pay off. And now the Bull backfield as the Wolverines put William Carr in there. Carr gets it, looking for his second touchdown in as many games with a flag on the play. He takes it inside the 1.
Now they're going to move that back because of motion. And this is going to make for some interesting play calling.
Memories of the bridge.
Watch Larry McGrew at the end of this play, number 50. Ouch! Just got run over by that 300-plus pounder. Now, Carr isn't quite that heavy.
And then last week, we had Michigan State a 3-yard touchdown run, the first of the career of William Carr.
He may not be that heavy, but he certainly moves the pile.
So So Michigan picks up the mark off. It'll take it back to the 7.
Joel, I'm going to be bold here. Play action pass right here would be absolutely killer. First down, everybody's going to anticipate they're going to go inside. I think a play action pass would be a great call.
They're in the eye. Tailback, Bianca Patuca. He is going to get it over to the left side, and nice through. At the 6-yard line, they'll give him the 5.
O'Connor made a great tackle because if he gets past O'Connor, he just walks into the end zone. They're running behind Runyon, and he's doing an outstanding job of hammering the defensive end, but O'Connor's able to skate out and make the play.
So now 2nd and goal outside of the 5-yard line. It has brightened up considerably. Unfortunately, though, the snow is still falling. Todd mentioned inside the 25, treacherous footing because that was not covered over the last couple of days with all the precipitation, especially over the last 24 hours. 2nd and goal from outside of the 5. Good penetration. Bianca Patuca losing yardage once again.
That's Aaron Hall. That was a good play there. He came completely untouched. Last year, he was their leading tackler at 109 tackles. They moved him to the weak side. Watch from the left of your screen. Hall's going to come completely untouched. Wraps up the legs of Bianca Patuca. To finish that story, last year, 109 tackles. Led the team in tackles. They said, look, we got this great kid, O'Keefer. We need to move him to the strong side to make more plays. You go to the weak side. Coach has said that he has not made a beef about it, just continue to play well, even though his tackle totals are down.
Last 2 years, he's been in the top 10 in tackles in the Big Ten. Then on 3rd and goal after the loss, looking to the direction of Bianca Patuca, and he almost comes up with it after they got it over the linebacker, O'Keefer.
Well, O'Keefer is upset with himself because he really should have had a pick. Brian Greasy looks to the right side and then comes back to the left, and O'Keefer was in perfect coverage. But, Joel, this is the reason why I mentioned the play action on 1st down. It's predictable. Now they have to throw. Watch number 34. He's right there. He looks right at him. O'Keefer misjudges this. He should have had a pick. And there's just no way Bianca Patuca could come up with that catch. And now that forces another field goal. This is an absolutely great stand for the Purdue defense, Joe.
1st and goal from the 2. You're exactly right. Got some help with that mark off. 5-yard penalty. A 25-yard field goal try by Hamilton. And Michigan is on the board at home. So Hamilton converts 3-0 Wolverines in the 1st quarter.
Though our name is little known, we speak to all America. From the simple pager to new two-way pagers, and soon, even pagers that speak. Affordable technology keeping America in touch. We're PageNet, the world's largest paging company. PageNet, in touch and ingenious.
The new Jimmy has all the strength of a GMC truck, including 50 advances in sound isolation. So it's easy to keep the outside world outside. The all-new Jimmy. Hear all about it at your GMC truck dealer.
Wrangler, the perfect jean for your 10-year-old son. And your 10-year-old husband. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
Pine Lake. 3 friends. 3 pair of Wrangler jeans. Everybody's comfortable. Even the fish. Wrangler. Real comfortable jeans.
Our statistician, Pat McGrath, on his way to the sideline now to pilfer that heater along the Boilermakers bench. Joel Myers along with Todd Christensen. Lloyd Cars, Michigan Wolverines on a 25-yard field goal by Remy Hamilton now with a 3-0 lead, capitalizing on the Allen fumble on the punt return.
Joel, I was going to say, that man can't be very happy about that. You're on the 2-yard line. You got to figure that with those big horses, you're going to walk it in. Very costly penalty as a result, and Purdue has to feel pretty good about themselves coming away only down 3.
Feely kicks it away once again. It'll come over to Hagen's side, this time from the 11. That was blockers. Hagens across the 25. Nice return all the way outside the 35 to the 37-yard line. 26-yard return, and finally, good field position for the Boilermakers when we come back to Ann Arbor.
Harris at Team Chevrolet Geo. The 96 models are arriving daily, and we're inviting you to our 96 Get Acquainted sale.
Right now at Team Chevrolet, get a new Chevrolet Corvette for only $199 a month. Or a new 96 Chevrolet Lumina for only $249 a month. Or how about a new Geo Prism for $0 down and only $215 a month? That's $0 down and only $215 a month at Team.
It's the 96 Get Acquainted sale, and you're invited. Only at Team Chevrolet right here in Westmont.
Look what you can see for only $3.95 in November. Big stars, big hits, one small price. Pay-per-view is affordable entertainment the easy way. Just pick the showing you want to see and follow the simple pay-per-view ordering instructions. Before you know it, you'll be watching the movie of your choice in the comfort of your home for only $3.95. Value, convenience, plus great entertainment. What more could you want? Pay-per-view in November. Check it out.
Gibson, I've been a TA here at Sports Center for about 3 months, and it's been really great.
You've embarrassed me on national TV.
I work long hours, sure, but I get a lot of exercise. I mean, it's really cool when one of those guys reads something I've written on the air.
Nice try, Sparky. Nice try. Maybe next time.
4 months ago, I was writing a paper about my idol, Craig Kilborn.
Gary?
Glenn?
Okay.
Here I am getting career advice from him.
2 words for you. Pizza, delivery.
It's incredible.
They live in Ann Arbor. They see these conditions regularly, but you never really get used to it, do you?
No, and that's their best friend. I can't imagine if Bud Grant was coaching that team. He'd be screaming at them, hey, get away from those eaters.
First and 10, Boilermakers, their own 37, trailing by 3. Under 3.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Allstott losing the ball and covering it at the 38-yard line. I love what Tim Sill, the offensive coordinator, Todd, said to us a couple of days ago. He said, we talked about different formations, possibly spreading the defense. He said, I back, no back. We kind of think that as communist football.
Communist football. Well, this is anything but. This is smash mouth football. And unfortunately for Allstott, this would have been his best run. He cuts inside. Now right here, he just drops the ball, and he has to spend time picking it up. But you could see he had some room there. If he could have held on to the ball, might have had a first down.
2nd and 9. Ball at the 38. Tretzker rolling against the grain for the southpaw, getting the block to the tight end and picking up Purdue's first down of the contest. And a nice block downfield by John Blackman.
And that's a great call by Coletta and his staff. Basically, Michigan has been packing 7 people in the box, as they say. And you can see, watch as he motions to his right. Everybody is gone. Bowens is the man who's supposed to be out there. He doesn't know whether to go after the tight end or to go after the quarterback, and in not making the immediate decision, that affords Tretzker the opportunity to cut up the field and set up shop first down in midfield.
That is his longest run of the season. 1st and 10 right at the midfield stripe. Watson, the tailback. And he'll see plenty of duty today because the backup, Corey Rogers, the senior from Chicago, didn't even make the trip with a sprained ankle. So basically, Allstott and Watson every step of the way today for the Boilermakers, and 5 on first down.
Well, the first couple of series, they were being dominated by Michigan, but now they're starting to go against the flow. Take a look at Watson. The hole is supposed to be on the left side, but he cuts back against the grain, goes to the right, picks up 5 yards. That's what Purdue has to do. They cannot go directly at Michigan. They have to do some things that are a little more deceptive.
2nd and 5 at the 45. Watson takes it for 2 as we head back to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Joel, this McDonald's breakaway takes us to Chapel Hill. We all remember what happened the last time Warrick Dunn touched the ball about a half-yard short against Virginia. First offensive snap against North Carolina. He gets it and goes. 43 yards for the touchdown. The Seminoles lead the Heels by 14.
And you know what, Joel? I still think that was a great call. I know he didn't get in, but I still maintain that was a great call at the end of the game.
People are still talking about that game. That's the kind of game it was. 3rd and 3 now at the Michigan 43. Tretzker running out of room and overshooting Blackman, the tight end. tough footing to turn around and try to regroup that quickly.
Well, Steve King, the strong safety, was outstanding in coverage. They had the play-action pass. Take a look to the left of your screen. He wants to get the tight end the ball on the cross, but right behind him, you can see right here, there's King in outstanding coverage. There's nothing he can do except get rid of the ball there and set up shop for the punt. He takes a beating there at the end. Wow, that was some shot. Flew about 4 yards in the air.
So already the third punt of the day from senior from Coral Springs, Florida, Rob Degnan. Schumer standing outside of the 10 for the Wolverines. And a fair catch, and it's taken in outside of the 14 by Amani Toomer. We do have a flag on the play.
Now, notice that in that case, the special teams coach did get to him.
Well, don't forget, the NFL continues on ESPN on Sunday night. John Elway, the Denver Broncos, going into the building, trying to slow down Ricky Waters and the offensive unit of the Eagles. Both teams 5-4, trying to make it to the playoffs. Denver, Philadelphia, Sunday night on ESPN.
Joel, what I was about to say is at that time he did. He stood right at 30 yards and said, we're just going to take the fair catch. That's exactly what he did, as opposed to letting it bounce and possibly get inside the 5.
Bianca Batuka with a single set. And on first down, he's into the secondary. And he's got a first down, 11 yards for Bianca Batuka. Brought down by Crick, the left end, the co-captain for the Boilermakers. 9 carries, 36 yards for the junior from Quebec. He is averaging 132 yards a game on the ground. That is 13th best in the nation. All-Star, as we mentioned at the top of the telecast, 12th best in the nation, 135 yards a game. Bianca Batuka belted immediately. It almost looked like Greasy had problems with his snap from the outset.
Well, good penetration on the part of Craig Williams, the right defensive end, to slow him up.
Now the snow has subsided, fortunately, as you see Greasy squinting, looking over at the sideline for the play. And earlier, the visibility was tough, so you can understand why he was squinting. Final few seconds of the opening quarter in a 2nd and 10 situation for the Wolverines. Paul turned it in. Bianca Batuka breaks the tackle. Wow. Is down the sideline. Wow. Forced out of bounds by the quarterback, Winston, or he is gone. That's what he does so well. You can't bring him down with an arm tackle. Bianca Batuka, the big run on the final snap of the first quarter. The Wolverines operating in Boilermaker territory. After one, they lead it by 3.
We stood side by side with Mike Boren when he laid 90,000 feet of sod. We carried the team's equipment when Mike Jr. pitched his first game. Then we chauffeured the whole family off to Angelo's to celebrate. GMC Sierra, with standard 4-wheel ABS and the same steel ladder frame built into our commercial trucks, it's a truck built for the way you live. Sierra is built for life. See the full line of GMC trucks at your GMC truck dealer.
Chet and I were looking for a high traffic zone, so we set up next to Gateway 2000. Heard they were selling over 1 million computers a year. Turns out they can give people more computers for their money because they sell them all over the phone.
Nice for computer buyers. A major setback for the souvenir industry.
Gateway computers feature the Intel Pentium processor. Call 1-800-GATEWAY for a free information kit on how to get more computer by buying factory direct.
We're back on the road with 1-800-COLLECT. What's Zoe Brown?
We have a road crew that's one of the best.
Those are the guys that work from sun up to way past sundown so that we end up looking good.
There are times that we'll do 13 cities in 14 days.
The guys know their business inside and out.
They can definitely handle making a 1-800-COLLECT phone call.
Now, who you calling?
Calling Ma.
My kids. My wife.
We've got a 1-800-COLLECT. Lindsay, this is Daddy.
So how do you like using 1-800-COLLECT?
It's real easy to remember, man.
It's the easiest thing these hands have done all day.
Roll into Pep Boys right now and get a full set of 4 70,000-mile tires for just $169. That's any size, any 4 70,000-mile tires in stock for just $169 at Pep Boys now. Need antifreeze. At Pep Boys and Parts USA, we've got this and that and this and that. We have every major brand at everyday low prices, like this for only that. New Temp for just $3.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at all Pep Boys and Parts USA stores now.
Craig Lambert isn't too worried about how to invest for Zach's college education. That's because he works with a broker from Dean Witter. Together, they developed a long-term investment plan to help take Zach wherever he wants to go.
Clients feel most comfortable with our ability to see things from their perspective.
Now, when Craig looks into his son's eyes, he can see the future and smile. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
The most popular guy at Michigan Stadium, a young millionaire in the making with the hot chocolate concession. And welcome back to the place they call the Big House. Joel Myers along with Todd Christians, first and 10 at the 38. And the new running back is Ed Davis, giving Biakabatuka a bit of a break. That last run, 37-yarder for Biakabatuka.
Well, he certainly deserves it. 11 carries for 73 yards in the first quarter, and this is really all on his own. Take a look at the tackle. You can see the pit right there. Take a look at the tackles that he breaks. 1, 2, and once again, he just breaks through the arm tackles, as you mentioned, Joel, showing some speed here and balance. You know, trying to get shoved out of bounds, he was able to get an extra 8 yards because he didn't go out of bounds immediately.
Davis on the carry with a couple. Solid 2nd and 8 at the 35 of Purdue. 3-0 lead for Michigan. Davis stays in there. Hammers it down to the 32, close to the 31. Brought down by the end. Williams once again. 8 straight wins for Michigan over Purdue. Last win coming in at 84 for the Boilermakers. So if there's a little ill will there, and they were jostling at the bottom of that pile, you can understand why. Last time they beat them here at Michigan Stadium, 1966.
And who is the quarterback for Purdue?
Bob Greasy. We're going to get into Greasy a little bit later, and obviously he's here today to watch his son. 3 very dramatic wins for Bob Greasy over Michigan. And not only was a quarterback, a lot of people forget he was kicking field goals at point after. Greasy overshooting Toomer on 3rd and about 5.
I'm guessing that they're going to go for it. I mean, you're on the 31-yard line. You're going to punt and get an extra 11 yards.
Well, you bring up a good point because the wind they're working into.
Right. I still think they're going to go.
Drive started back at their own 15. The offensive unit is going to stay out there for Lloyd Carr.
Fred Jackson, the offensive coordinator, you saw there talking with head coach Lloyd Carr, wasn't very happy about what he just saw. Toomer out in single coverage. Should have been an easy catch and throw, but it wasn't.
On 4th and 5, he's got Mercury Hayes wide open. He had a big cushion on the cornerback, Derek Winston. First down, Michigan to the 19.
Much too large a cushion. Basically, they ran the exact same play to the other side with more yardage. And you're right, that was just way too much. Watch to the left of your screen when he makes the catch. Look at the gap. Winston's a good 9 yards off, and you just can't afford that. I realize that Hayes is a speedster, but you had to figure that 4th and 5, they're not going to throw into the end zone.
Biakabatuka still on the bench after that 37-yard run. Ed Davis stays in the backfield behind George Howell. 7th play of the drive that starts at the 15. Davis has a huge hole. Down to the 12. Inside the 13, we check in once again with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Joel, how's Virginia going to bounce back from the Florida State game? A letdown, perhaps? Down 3-0 at Maryland. This short kickoff becomes a disaster. The returner slips. It's recovered by Paul Jackson. Maryland scores, goes for 2, makes it, and they lead by 11.
All right, Mike. Well, Virginia opened the season right here in Ann Arbor. We've seen that play just a few times. That final catch by Mercury Hayes with 4 seconds. They snap the ball.
You got to admit, that was a whale of an onside kick, though.
Biakabatuka into the backfield in a big way once again, and it's going to be 1st and goal, Michigan. Right around the 6.
You know, it's interesting, talking with offensive coordinator Fred Jackson yesterday, he mentioned the fact that Biakabatuka, 37 carries against a very physical Michigan State team. He said, I don't anticipate that that's going to happen again. I said, yeah, right. He had 11 carries in the first quarter, now in his 12th carry. Take a look at the end where he ends up landing.
Splash. Just a little rain over the last day and a half here in Ann Arbor. There's the offensive the Wolverines.
Yeah, you know, you say that you're only going to give the guy so many carries. It's kind of like in Dallas with Emmitt Smith. No. We'll hold back. Yeah, right. When crunch time comes, you want your ball in the hands of your horse.
First and goal. Ed Davis barely makes it back to the original line of scrimmage.
That's Jamie Washell again, and the thing that's interesting here is that this is where they struggled before. Remember, they got inside the 5, and everybody assumed it was a gimme. Not so here. Purdue rising up. How about play action here? What do you think?
You liked it on first down the last time, and they didn't go with it for you.
Well, second down now. What do you think?
I think they're looking at it now as an option. And they split out to the wide side, so I really like it. Mercury Hayes. Ed Davis is single set. 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. They don't like the call. Davis almost got away before Derek Brown, the free safety, helped out Crick to close it down.
Well, I tell you what, Brown is making some hits this series, even though some of them have been downfield. If he doesn't make that play, Davis does a nice job spinning off and almost was able to maintain his balance and walk in, but Brown came up in the run support, and now third down, it becomes incredibly predictable that you're going to throw the ball.
Just about 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. 3-0 lead for the Wolverines on a 25-yard field goal by Remy Hamilton. And now a timeout has been called by Purdue. So they get things together defensively, and we'll come right back to Ann Arbor.
The family of the future will have many hundreds of television channels.
Gee, mister, won't that be confusing?
Not with this, a video guide. It'll let them see what's on 7 days into the future, or what's on right now. It'll give them instant news and sports scores. And with just one touch, they'll even be able to tape record their favorite television shows. Don't forget the tape.
So what do you think they'd call this video guide?
Video guide. It's about time. When was the last time you played in the rain? Let your hair go wild. Flexed your muscles to the world. Stayed up past your bedtime. When was the last time you really had fun in a car? Riviera by Buick. Go ahead. Express yourself.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
Doesn't have to be.
And now the starting lineup. That groom from Texas, Billy Clyde Humphrey. And at bride, a 5'6" debutante from Alabama, Nell Peterson. The Humphrey wedding brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good. The vows are up.
I do.
And they're good. Whoa, Nelly!
That was beautiful, man.
Michigan looking for more as we're walking you back to Ann Arbor. Joel Myers along with Todd Christensen. Wolverines leading by 3. It doesn't get any easier for Purdue after this one. They've got Northwestern next week. So Michigan today, Northwestern next week. 2 opponents combined 15-3 for the Boilermakers of Purdue. And for Purdue to get to a bowl game, they've got to win their final 3. It's the 11th play of the drive. Started for the Wolverines all the way back at their own 15. Chris Howard, the single set. And on 3rd and goal, throwing behind Mercury Hayes. He was open in the crossing pattern, working on Derek Brown, the free safety.
Well, Hayes isn't very happy about it because they got what they wanted. They wanted a 3 wide receiver set. He comes on the crossing pattern. The crossing pattern going the other direction gets him open. There he is. He's open by about 2 steps, but the ball's behind him.
And Washell once again putting pressure on the quarterback, Greasy.
Well, again, Joel, Purdue's got to be very happy about a defensive stand here.
So now a 22-yard field goal attempt coming up for Hamilton, the junior from Boca Raton, Florida. And it's blocked. Blocked by the Boilermakers, so they hold. And they stop a huge drive that started all the way back into Michigan 15. I think it was Derek Winston.
Derek Winston's the one that comes off the corner, and more you're seeing that. It's amazing to me how that happens. Take a look right here from the top. He's going to come. Poor job. Look at the angle. He gets the angle that he wants, lays in. I think along with him, not only was it wasn't just Winston. I believe along with him, John Crick is the one that comes up the middle and gets a piece of it too. Boy, that defense is excited, and justifiably so.
So now First and 10 Purdue. Still only a 3-point lead for Michigan. They've enjoyed the great field position, but they have not taken advantage of the situations.
Well, the yards right there certainly dictate that they've been dominating the game, but as you mentioned, it's only 3-zip.
Watson, the tailback, one of the best runs of the day. Across the 15 and 18, gets 7 on first down. ESPN's presentation of college football is being brought to you by Video Guide, the on-TV program guide with news, weather, and sports. It's about time. And by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. So a pick-me-up for the Boilermakers from their defensive unit. Now does it carry over to the offensive unit? 2nd and 3 after the 7-yard pickup by Ed Watson. Watson's number again. He won't make it the marker. Barely makes it back to the line. Popped in there. He recovered that fumble down at the 2 after the muff by Craig Allen. Other scores around the Big Ten. Saw Northwestern with an early 3-0 lead over Iowa. And Northwestern riding some kind of high now.
Well, yeah, but you know what? With regards to Northwestern, I'm really getting weary of people talking about whether or not it's a fluke that they're at the top of the standing. I broadcast their game against Wisconsin. It's not a fluke. They play some serious defense, and Darnell Autry is as good as any runner in the country.
390 yards on the ground line. Almost like Autry kind of numbers for Northwestern. And they bury Prescott. Looking the wrong way. He is annihilated by Jason Horn, the defensive end.
Jason Horn was somebody who had been defensive tackle the first 4 games of the season. Now they get him back at defensive tackle to pass rush, and now he gets his 9th sack. He had 8 in the first 4 games, none in the last 3. Ouch. Take a look at this shot. Oh, man, that hurts. That really hurts. Oh.
So while he's trying to get away from Sam Sword, excuse me, Jason Horn is there. 3 and out once again. Dickman back at his own goal line. Amani Toomer at the midfield stripe. And it gets away from Toomer inside the 40. Nice roll. As it's touched down at the 31. So Michigan gets it back, but surprisingly, with the field position they've had, they only lead it by 3.
I'm Dave Clark. I'm a big eater. Now tell the court where you were for lunch Tuesday. I was eating a Wendy's Big Bacon Classic combo. You know, quarter pound of fresh beef, 3 strips of bacon, cheese, toppings, biggie fries, and a drink.
Sounds like a big meal. Did you finish it?
Every bite.
Really?
Well, liar.
Liar.
The court.
Isn't it true it was too big for you?
It was too big.
Get off the stand.
Wendy's Big Bacon Classic Combo is only for big eaters.
It was too big.
Don't let this happen to you.
Let me guess. One side of you craves easy chair comfort, while the other side itches for performance, right? Well, meet Buick Regal with its famous 3800 V6 engine and Grand Touring suspension. Add to that an all-new interior with body-sensitive seats. And finally, there's a car for the 2 of you. Buick Regal.
Can you tell which man is at home and which is in a Residence Inn hotel room?
Honey, can you take out the garbage?
That was a hint. Residence Inn by Marriott. The next best thing to home.
Michigan has it 1st and 10 at their own 31, but they are only up by 3. And I say only because Purdue offensively has had it 4 times, 3 and out with a punt, and the Boilermakers have only picked up 1 first down thus far. Biakabatuka up the middle, 4-4 to the 35.
Well, and also you have to point out the fact, Joel, that twice now they've been inside the 5-yard line, and instead of coming away with a possible 14 points, they've only come away with 3. A lot of credit has to go to that Purdue defense.
how much residual effect on a loss to your arch rival, especially last Saturday at Michigan State.
Well, you know, when I was chatting with Fred Jackson, the offensive coordinator for Michigan, he made the point that while everybody says that maybe their rivalry was Ohio State or Penn State, he said that it's a very serious rivalry with Michigan State. It's an in-state deal, and as a result, I think you're right. I think there is some lingering effect to that.
4 on first down for Biakabatuku, stays in the backfield. Gets it once again, 2nd and 6. Buried in the backfield. Greg Smith, outstanding play for the junior from Chicago. Well, don't forget ESPN2's complete college football coverage continues later today. Scores, highlights, interviews. Sports Night College Football Edition coming your way at 6 and then at 7. Wisconsin led by running back Carl McCullough. Quarterback Darrell Bevel. They battle the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. It's the Paul Bunyan Axe game. College football all coming your way later today on ESPN2. Both teams have had the problem so far on third downs. Combined 0 for 9, and now it's a 3rd and 6 coming up for the Wolverines. Plenty of time for Greasy. Now that was thrown behind as they call it an incomplete pass behind Greasy. Ed Davis couldn't get his hands on it as it was off his fingertips. Well, it was almost like a lateral.
It was close. It was close. You get a chance to see it. Watch where his feet are. Right there, they're right at about the 30-yard line, and so no, that's a forward pass. Good call by the official, but for whatever reason, Brian Greasy's accuracy is non-existent today. Certainly a lot of that has to do with the weather, but he's had some people open. He just hasn't been able to get him the ball.
It is going to be Oliver Dottie instead of Allen this time.
Oh,
Paris barely got a piece of it. What a break for Purdue. On the exchange, they get it back now. 1st and 10 when we return at their own 46.
Menards has the finishing touch for all your fall projects. Put a beautiful finish on doors, furniture, and more with clear poly from Carver Trip. It dries quickly to a durable finish. Just $16.44 a gallon. Brighten the walls in your home with Gordon and Berkeley wallpaper. On sale now in many beautiful patterns, starting at just $5.74 a double roll. Menards has more ways to decorate your home.
Save big money at Menards.
The hazardous driving season is coming. Give yourself a break. Get into a safe, dependable, affordable, winterized Willowbrook Ford used car, truck, or van. Over 300 on sale now. And with your good credit, $99 down delivers your choice. Let us finance you immediately. Let us put you in any vehicle you want immediately. Let us save you thousands immediately at Willowbrook Ford. We give used car dealers a good name. Willowbrook Ford, just off I-55 on Route 83.
John Elway and the Broncos take aim at the new-look Eagles when they clash in Philly in a key interconference shootout.
This is going to be a wonderful game. Just wonderful.
Rule number 24, dangerous equipment. Rule number 25, to play the game, use a puck. Mario leads his Penguins to L.A. to take on the Kings tonight. The NHL rules on ESPN2.
Tough way for Paul Paris to go to the bench after a punt like that. Not many guys talking to him right now. The punt leads it to the 46 for the Boilermakers. Joel Einstein, Christensen back in Ann Arbor. That's field position to start the drive so far today for Purdue. Watson the tailback. And a yard is all he's going to get. Irons, the Butkus Award finalist, over there to make the play.
Well, you mentioned that punt. Take a look at where his foot hits the ball. It's slowed down and very slow. Watch right here at the end. Watch the ball hit. Look at the wind move it, and he hits it right at the end. Those of you that are hardcore football followers remember some 10 years ago when Sean Landeta of the Chicago Bears actually whiffed in a playoff game against the Giants. So I guess from the positive standpoint, he didn't whiff, Joel. At least he got a piece.
So now 2nd and 9.
Speaking of a piece, look at a piece of the turf there in Watson's face pass.
And Watson is not bothered by it, but he loses the ball, and it's picked off in midair by the Wolverines, and it looked like David Bowen's coming up with it.
I think Bowen's got the ball, but the guy that made the hit, I believe it might have been Zinkowitz that made the hit. Interesting that they're going to Watson here as opposed to Allstott, Joel. I wonder if they mentioned that he's been banged up last week. Take a look right in the middle. Pretty good hole right at the end of the plate. Right here coming in. No, my mistake. It was King, the strong safety, who gets a piece of that.
17, Clarence Thompson, I believe, got his helmet on it.
You're right. Nice hole. Right there. King is the one that gets knocked off, and you're right. It's Thompson who comes over with the elbow and pops it up, and Bowens is able to make the recovery.
So Michigan on the second turnover now by Purdue. Great field position. First and 10. Working into the wind at their own 40-yard line. Greasy's in trouble, and Greasy goes down. The sack is there for Leo Perez. We go back to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Well, the great college rivalry, Amherst and Williams, this morning on ESPN2 comes down to this. It's the final play of the game. The long pass is intercepted, and it's a scoreless game. So trying to keep a 21-game winning streak alive, the best thing Williams can do, try to lateral the ball. The Stanford Cal play, there was no luck. The game ends in a tie. The win streak for Williams ends at 21.
All right, Mike. Second and 17 now. Michigan up by 3. And Amani Toomer on the grass, getting back to the original line of scrimmage. Brought down by the free safety, Derek Brown.
Well, this may not have done a lot in terms of yardage, but I think it did a lot for Greasy's confidence to finally get the ball out to the wide receiver, Amani Toomer. Toomer lucky just to come up with the ball, and now they come up 3rd and 10. Tough position for the quarterback to be in with the wind in his face and the struggles that he's had here in the first half, Joel.
The wind continues to whip from the north end of Michigan Stadium to the south end, and the snow is back as well. So that complicates matters. 3rd and 10. They're over 6 on the third down. Tries it. Here comes the reverse for Mercury Hayes. He's got blockers. He's got a first down. Hayes at the 47 of Purdue, and that was what they were concerned with. They said, you know, Bianca Patuk is going to hammer you for his yards, but the finesse game of Michigan scared Purdue.
Well, you know, Joel, they did a great job setting this up. This isn't a really great job of running on the part of Hayes. Take a look at all the bodies. Now watch, he gets out here. There's nothing but maize and blue and about 2 white shirts. Now stay to the outside. Instead, he actually bumps into his quarterback, Greasy, who's trying to help him downfield. And as a result, Hayes gets knocked down a lot sooner than he should have.
Cars out of the freeway doing a similar routine right now. These conditions. And the running back, Chris Howard, losing his footing in the backfield and a loss of a couple of yards resulting. He's a sophomore from River Ridge, Louisiana. We've already seen 3 out of the tailback spots for Lloyd Carr today.
Well, they're trying to keep their interest. You know, it's kind of tough when you practice all week and don't get an opportunity to get in the game, but evidently they feel that that they're really trying to give Bianca Batuga a break.
Davis and Howard have seen some snaps. Davis, extensive work already in the first half. 2nd and 12. Greasy almost lost it. This is Davis. He's back to the line, the original line. It'll bring up 3rd and 10. O'Keefe, the outside backer, in on that hit. Leads the Boilermakers in tackles.
Take a look at the snap here. He almost drops it. Actually, that's a pretty good catch to get it on the way down. Otherwise, that could have been a disaster. Now 3rd and 10 will be interesting, Joel, to see what they come up with in terms of bag of tricks. Obviously, the passing attack has struggled with the reverse or flea flicker, something along those lines. You know.
So they just finally converted on their first 3rd down on a 3rd and 10. This is also a 3rd and 10. Take the reverse with Toomer. Looking for Hayes, and now he's got the boundary. Greasy should be able to get the first down marker, and he doesn't make it.
Wow.
O'Keefe beat him to the punch.
Boy, I tell you, that is a great piece of linebacking. They go with the fake reverse, and they've got Hayes as the only guy out there on the route. Take a look, you can see Hayes on the post. They fake the reverse. He's the only guy. They have great protection, but they have it covered. Now watch O'Keefe, who's in the middle, come flying across. It looks like Greasy's going to get the first down, as you mentioned, Joel. But boy, that's a great athletic play.
So O'Keefe coming out big, and now another decision. And it looks like Michigan, after deliberating for an extra few seconds, is going to bring on their special teams and punt the ball away. And it's going to be Ferris once again punting. Not Nate DeLong, the sophomore, who has seen extensive activity as the punter as well. They get Olivadotti, the wide receiver, on late. Delay of game. Field position-wise, no big deal for the Wolverines. Well, kicking into the wind.
I would you might be right, except for that 18-yard punt last time. I'm not so sure.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty.
Well, our referee today, you can understand the conditions taking their toll on just about everybody. He sounds out of breath. So Michigan leads it by 3. Down to the 2-minute mark of the opening half. Will they come after Ferris after that last punt? No, they'll set up for the return. A little bit better, but not much. Dives into the wind. And they'll come up with it now. 1st and 10. At their own 26 after only a 17-yard punt. So we do have a timeout on the field. Purdue, final opportunity in the first half.
Hey, Benny, what do they call these shoes anyway?
Air Penny.
So who you guys playing tonight anyway?
Minnesota.
Oh, Los Lobos. I guess you're going for the big numbers tonight, huh? Now I want you to work them inside, work them outside. I'm sitting triple-double here. Now, Penny, I want to say hello to my man Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett?
Yeah, Garnett. We went to high school together. Tell him little Penny from the science club says hello. Can you do that for brother?
Here we are at the World's Do-It-Yourself Finals. Larry Snyder's up in the routing compulsories. This man's making a name for himself today. Very smooth. But can Larry and his trusty Ryobi tool handle the 4x4? He takes it deep. Out of here. This kid's coming in unranked. But he's got all the tools, the power, the touch. Oh, he's in the zone now!
This is Jackson. He's learning about airplanes on a PC with an Intel Pentium processor inside. The Pentium processor has the power to make software look, sound, and feel more real. Which lets Jack's imagination really take off. The Intel Pentium processor.
He can barely see. She can't stand to watch. Welcome back to Ann Arbor. Real men, real football. Joel Myers, Todd Christensen. Purdue has it. 2:02 left in the first half. Snow continues to gust around the winds at 30, 35 miles an hour. And Tresker goes down. They came with the corner blitz, and Thompson got there. Well, ESPN2, college hoops ready to go on both. Manhattan, Georgia Tech, DePaul, Michigan, Weber State, Fresno State. Tark's first game with Fresno State. First round, preseason NIT on ESPN on Wednesday. And don't forget, more NIT on ESPN2. Long Beach State taking on Arizona. That is Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Only 400 college basketball games on ESPN and ESPN2 this year. We are ready to go. Be right back to Ann Arbor.
Okay, my boys forgot me a bellyache. Alfie, my ring. Grandma's ring. We're never gonna find it. We can find it. Is that it? No, I've looked there.
You can look and look, but you never know where you're going to find a dream fulfilled.
Let's pretend we're playing hide and seek. Come on, it'll be fun.
Yet the universities of the Big Ten are celebrating 100 years of just that.
This is stupid. We're never going to find it. Let's go.
When you support higher education, you'll help kids' dreams come alive for the next 100 years.
You can find anything if you look hard enough.
This message furnished by the universities of the Big Ten.
Michigan with a 3-0 lead. Stopped the clock after the sack of the big loss. Todd, why did they go to play action on first down?
I was curious to see that as well. I would think that they would just run out the clock down 3, bad field position. I would guess here they're going to run.
Only the 5th carry of the half for Allstott. Across the 25 to 26, it'll bring up 3rd and long. By his absence, Allstott has been very noticeable after 36 carries last week, a career best, as Michigan calls another timeout, stopping with a minute 41 left in the half. He has a bad ankle, a bruised thigh, but as his coaches told us earlier in the week, he'd play with 2 broken ankles.
Yeah, everybody says the same thing. The one word that kept coming up with regards to Allstott was throwback. I heard that over and over again where that young man was concerned. I would have been thinking by now that we'd have already been talking about him as the all-time Purdue rusher. Only 5 carries for 12 yards thus far, needing 35 to go past him heading into this game. Now Michigan calls their second timeout, and depending upon the punt, which has been an absolute adventure today, be interesting to see what happens.
And with the timeout, let's take it to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Joel, a reminder coming up at the end of this first half, the Office Max halftime report. Weather a factor in most of the top 25 games that are going on. We'll have scores and highlights. The Northwestern story, the Wildcats now trail Iowa in their game, and we'll look at the bowl picture in the Big Ten. That's all coming up on the Office Max halftime report. See you then. Joel?
Okay, Mike.
What did you think of Hayden Fry's comments heading into the Northwestern game? I thought that interesting after 21 straight victories. Kind of a psychological thing working, didn't you think? Tough guy.
Tough customer. 3rd and a dozen. A little more than 11, almost 12. Back outside of the 25. Dead ball foul coming up against the offense. Minute 40 left in the half. Michigan wants it back. Zitelli, the right guard, may have lifted up early.
Well, again, I don't understand this. More than likely, your chances of 3rd and 12 are not good. Force them to take their last time out, give Allstott the ball, and punt.
Clock operator, put 1:41 on the clock. 1:41. We have a dead ball. Ball start on the offense.
Jim Coletto has to be pleased with the respect that his offense has done nothing so far, and he is still only down by 3.
Yeah, don't forget, we mentioned this earlier, this is a team that ran off nearly 400 yards of rushing last week, close to 600 yards in total offense, but this goes to show what a difference that we can make.
So now make a 3rd and a long 16, almost 17. Long count by Tresker, doesn't get him offside. Goes with the counter, and not much there for Watson. Outstanding play by Sword. Redshirt freshman from Saginaw. So now Michigan stops it for a final time in this first half.
You're right, Sword comes across because here, if he's not able to make that tackle, he's going to cut upfield and get some extra yardage. Sword, normally a reserve, is making some great plays today.
So now the punting situation, fortunately for Purdue, Degnan will have the wind at his back, and it is a good wind at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Stiff breeze today in Ann Arbor. Don't forget, coming up in just a couple of minutes with Mike Tirico, the Office Max halftime report. Northwestern trailing early in their ball game at home to Iowa. There was snow on the ground. Talked to Chicago this morning. They had about 4 inches, I believe, out in the suburbs, wet snow. So not exactly the ultimate conditions there. Florida State already up early. And Miami looking solid, looking for their 6th consecutive win. Michael fill you in on all those stories. Have the scores and the highlights as well. What a year it has been for the Big Ten. 4 teams currently right now in the top 10. The latest poll. Amani Toomer waits inside the 35. The only clean uniform, that's Degnan. A wobbler with the wind at his back. Break for Michigan. Toomer will stay away.
Well, actually, as it turned out, it was a break for Purdue. Not only did the roll turn into a longer punt, but that takes some time off the clock.
You could see the effect the wind had even when it hit the ground. It rolled for an extra 10, 15 yards. So now it's back outside of the 33 for the Wolverines. This is going to be their 7th possession offensively. The first 30 minutes of play. They're only scoring a 25-yard field goal by Remy Hamilton, but if you joined us late, that was on their 3rd series. As Greasy was only 3 of 9. Real struggle for him to throw the ball today. He's had a couple of receivers open. But on that possession, it was a Craig Allen fumble on a punt by Michigan. And the Wolverines covered it at the 2-yard line, but they could not get it into the end zone after they picked up a 5-yard penalty on first down, and then it made it 1st and goal from the 7. Try Bryce Boston, starting quarterback for the Wolverines this year. Unfortunately, suffered ligament damage in his thumb of his throwing hand, and it happened during practice, catching his thumb on the jersey of a teammate. So his season is over. Greasy will go the remainder of the way and throws it behind his intended target there. So he wanted Chris Howard, the tailback, just a little bit late.
And just a little bit off for whatever reason. I mean, this just isn't that hard of a throw right there, and you're right. It's a little bit behind. Certainly a catchable ball, but Greasy would certainly like to have that one back and lead him.
The timing continues to be off for Brian Greasy, the sophomore from Columbus High School in Miami. His dad is here, calling the game on the local radio station, in fact. 2nd and 10. All day. And again, he throws it behind, and it should be intercepted, is it? Yes. Picked off by Aaron Hall, off the deflection. Hall, the senior from Wayne, New Jersey. Check the house. He is a senior from Wayne, New Jersey.
Well, this play seemed to take an awful long time to develop. You see Hayes is coming on the flag route, tries to throw it, batted up in the air, and Hall, Johnny on the spot. Nice catch.
Jamel Coleman with the deflection.
That really made the play. You're right. Coleman was in outstanding coverage and hustling over his Hall. And so now at the 43-yard line with 2 timeouts left, Purdue has a chance to get in and make something happen, which they certainly didn't expect.
Talked with Hall's parents at dinner last night. He's a true freshman. He's getting snaps for Purdue, and his dad said, called me after the Notre Dame game, his freshman season. He goes, Dad, last year the same week I'm playing West Orange, New Jersey High School. Today I was running through the tunnel at Notre Dame. Tretzker is buried in the backfield again. Getting to him, Bowens, the backer, the outside backer, and another sack.
Well, the play-action fake is supposed to fool Bowens because they don't have anybody on him. There's nobody there to block him. Take a look at the top of your screen, number 6. Here he comes in. Nobody touches him. Maybe it was Allstott that was supposed to come out and get a piece of him, but Bowens is not fooled, and as a result, he comes completely untouched and nails Tretzker.
So now, Purdue stops the clock with 51 seconds left. Real struggle for both quarterbacks just to come away from their centers cleanly so far today.
Yeah, it really has been.
It is going to be second. Not quite 20, but 2nd and 18 coming up.
One thing I've never understood, though, with regards to this situation, you're on the 42-yard line. There's less than a minute left. Who's fooled by a play-action pass? You know, everybody in the stands knows that you have to throw in this situation. Why do you go with that? Because what happens is then when a backer like that who's coming completely untouched, he's not fooled at all, and now you have the big loss as opposed to dropping back and saying, hey, look, you know we're going to throw here. Why with the play action?
Jim Coletto in his 5th year at Purdue. 5 years before that, head coach Cal State Fullerton looking for his first win against the Wolverines of Michigan. His offensive coordinator, Tim Salem, making those calls. Let's see if they get away from the play action on 2nd and long. Don't take that extra time. Allstott, Watson, the 2 in the backfield. And this time it is a straight drop, and Allstott can't get down to get it. You can see him shake his hands like wet and cold.
Well, he ended up on a delay route. Basically, that's what that was. They wanted to delay, catch the ball, get back the yardage that they had lost, but he slipped and fell. Tretzker's under a lot of pressure. There's William Carr, the fridge replica, with his specialty.
He hasn't been able to get too many away today, has he?
No, 1 for 3 and only 2 yards. Now what you call Marino-like numbers.
Forgettable first half so far for the Purdue offensive unit. And now 3rd and 18. Bad snap. Tretzker has a man, and it's inside the 35 as he's finally found Brian Alford, his leading target this year.
Well, this is 4-down territory. It's going to come up 4th and 2, and I think they're going to use their timeout and make a decision as to what to do. You can see the snap actually hits him in the butt, Trefsker does a good job snapping up, and for all the conditions, what a tough throw this is. He's got to go over the backer, right in the middle of the field, and after all the struggles that you had just documented about the passing game, he makes a tremendous throw.
And what a thrill for Brian Alford, a young man who grew up in the Detroit suburbs of Oak Park, to come up with a big grab. And don't forget, later today, ESPN is a great doubleheader. Auburn, Georgia, the first one at 5 Eastern, followed by Florida and South Carolina. South Carolina at 8 o'clock Eastern. It'll all be followed. Wrap things up, close out the day with the Residents In College Football Scoreboard at 11 o'clock.
This makes for an interesting decision right now, not just in terms of this play, but the next play. You're saying to yourself, do we have to throw here on 4th and kind of a very long one, or can you call 2 plays, give it to Allstott or Watson, get the first down, and then hustle back up to the line of scrimmage and throw? This puts a lot of pressure on the defense because it isn't a given here. You'd think that, well, maybe we have to roll out pass or throw a hook pattern, but they don't. If they can get 2 plays called here, they can get away with the run and come back with a throw.
And if they get the first down with the run, as you say, everybody's fairly close to the line still, and they get the clock stopped for the movement of the chains. And they've got the punter Dignan on the field, which would really be a shot.
No,
although they're going to go for a long field goal. With the wind at their back, they're going for a 52-yarder now with Brad Bobbitt. He is 9 of 11 on the year, the senior from Greenfield, Indiana. It'll be a 52-yard attempt out of the hole for punter Dignan.
Man, I am really surprised with this. I know he's 9 of 11, but
the exchange is good. The low line drive won't even be close, though. So now Michigan gets it back with 30 seconds left on the clock.
You know, the reason I don't like that, besides the fact that they missed the field goal, what does that say about the confidence in your offense, Joel? I mean, it's kind of a subtle thing to the quarterback and the rest of the people. Hey, it's 4th and a long one, 30-some seconds left. Certainly we can get a little bit closer. That kick didn't have a chance. Remember, Remy Hamilton, a career 82% kicker, who does have the leg for a 50-yarder, wasn't even close earlier. Everything's fine in terms of the hold and everything else, but the footing's not as good. The elements are just not conducive to making that kind of kick.
But how do you really feel about the call, Todd?
Well, I don't understand it. I'm just telling you, as a former offensive player, when you get in that situation, you're saying, come on, give us a chance, give us a chance. What are the chances of making a 52-yard field goal? Slim and none.
So the one snap, the knee, and now the officials are going to say that will be the final play of the first half. So, tough conditions to play football and anything else as we head back to the studio. Michigan by 3, and let's head back now to Mike Tureen.
All right, Joel, so special teams a big factor. The kicking game all over the country, not just this game, all fouled up, as you will see during our halftime report. The Wolverines lead by 3. Coming up here on the Office Max halftime report, complete scores and highlights from all the games going on in college football. We'll take you to Evanston, where it has been a tough 24 hours weather-wise. Earlier today, this was the scene where College Game Day was supposed to come from, but Chris Lee and Craig and company have moved inside. We'll get everyone's thoughts on the game at Northwestern as well. At the break in the Big House, Michigan leads by 3. Don't touch the remote.
Time you played in the rain. Let your hair go wild. Flexed your muscles to the world. Stayed up past your bedtime. When was the last time you really had fun in a car? Riviera by Buick. Go ahead. Express yourself.
Defender and Gallagher. So polish up your old moves. You'll need them to survive the arcade classics. Now available in 2-in-1 game packs for Game Boy and Super Game Boy, baby.
Kelly Springfield like to keep active. Although occasionally we have to stop and catch your breath. America's oldest tire company.
This halftime report is brought to you by Office Max.
No, it's Michigan in the snow and rain, 3-0. That's the scene in Alabama for the Alabama-Mississippi State game. Bobby Bowden and the Seminoles dealing with inclement weather in Chapel Hill for their game against North Carolina, and you've seen our game in the muck and the wet. And we all need to towel off after that first half. Michigan by 3 as we welcome you to the Office Max halftime report. This front that came through the Midwest, now heading through the South and Northeast, dropped some snow on Evanston last night. No snow really during the game for Iowa and Northwestern. The series, as we chronicled in game day, dominated by the Hawkeyes. Would they be the team that gets in the way of Northwestern's dream season? Early on, Eric Hilgenberg, the Iowa defensive end, taken off the field with a knee injury. So the Iowa defense a little undermanned for trying to stop Darnell Autry and company. Schnurr goes up to the air. Perfect throw, but Wayne Bates can't hold on in the end zone. 4th down, Wildcats go for a 50-yard field goal. It is good. The Northwestern on the go and field goal led 3-0. But back comes Iowa. A Cedric Shaw-led running drive for a score. Made it 7-3. Then on the ensuing possession, Schnurr, the fullback Hartel, tips it, intercepted by Tom Knight. Tom Knight takes it the distance, and Iowa scores back-to-back touchdowns to make it 14-3. But Northwestern takes it back down the field. Schnurr to Darren Drexler, up the middle. Is he going to get in? Touchdown, Northwestern. They've just kicked the point, so Northwestern trails Iowa by 4. 8:25 left, second quarter. Iowa looking for 22 straight in this series. To Florida State, of course, they lost their last game against Virginia on the road in Chapel Hill. After North Carolina goes 3 and out, the punt is blocked. Mario Edwards picks it up, takes it in. 7-0 Noles. Here's their first offensive play of the game. Warwick Dunn, denied last time he touched the ball against Virginia, not denied here. 43-yard touchdown for Dunn. He has just run in another one, sandwiched in between that, a North Carolina touchdown by Mike Thomas. The extra point was missed, so the Seminoles lead in Chapel Hill in the rain by 15. Also in the ACC, co-leader Virginia in College Park. Maryland's up 3-0. On the ensuing kickoff, hey, you got to touch the ball. Paul Jackson recovers for Maryland. It leads 4 plays later to this. Terp quarterback Scott Milanovic, who really snapped out of the slump last week, runs it in on the boot from 1 yard out. They go for 2 and make it up 11-0. Back comes Virginia, though. They add a field goal, and then a Tiki Barber 2-yard run. Capping off an 8-play, 47-yard drive. So the odd score, Virginia and Maryland tied at 11 in College Park in the second. Also in the conference, Clemson, which has been red hot, leading by the score of 7-0 over Duke. Emmett Smith's brother in the house again for a touchdown. We showed you the rain going on in Tuscaloosa, a factor for Alabama early. Wet ball, bad snap. The punter, Hayden Stockton, just takes it out of the end zone. Safety for Mississippi State. They're up 2-0. Then, against Coach Stallings' team, Mississippi State drives it down the field. Derek Tate to Eric Moles, a 4-yard touchdown. Jackie Sherrill, the Mississippi State coach, has never beaten his alma mater, Alabama, right now, leading by 9 halfway through the second quarter there. This was Temple's home game, but they moved it to RFK Stadium in Washington in hopes of getting some fans. It's a Virginia Tech-dominated crowd. The Hokies lead by 3. Syracuse, which lost at Blacksburg last week, putting it on Pittsburgh early 28-7. Rob Conrad, their freshman running back, has 2 touchdown runs. Perfect first half for their quarterback, Donovan McNabb. More on the games we've just showed you the scores of. Back to Evanston, Chris, Lee, and Craig.
Mike, thank you. A lot to talk about. Let's start with the game here. A very important answering drive. We showed you the touchdown the Northwestern scored to make it 14-10. It was set up by a personal foul penalty on Iowa on the kickoff, so a mistake. And then Northwestern, another one of those impressive answering drives. But Iowa so far getting a better push up front than the Wildcats.
Well, you know, I've been watching the field out there. It's frozen. Darnell Autry, who is from Florida, had problems at the beginning of the game hitting up there. I didn't think he hit it up there with as much authority as he had in the past. He's getting better now. I think it'll help him, but you got a reason why he didn't play well at the beginning.
Absolutely. Cedric Shaw is outperforming because he had more carries. You know, we sit there and we watch. It's cold, man. I'm telling you, my ears are falling off. I can't keep them up there. Cedric Shaw with 20 carries. His blood gets going in the body. He's moving out there, whereas Darnell Autry, up until this last series, just wasn't quite into the game. That'll help him a lot. Florida State. How would the Seminoles rebound after some time to think about that loss at Virginia? Well, the turnover troubles continue. They had a backward lateral that turned into a turnover and a free 6 points. But up front, the Noles are playing well.
Well, Florida State did an analysis of themselves. They threw the ball too much last week against Virginia. They've gone back to a more of a balanced offense. In fact, in the second quarter, they had only thrown 4 passes. They're running the ball. They're getting much better balance. Watch them come out and start throwing the ball a lot in the second half.
Meanwhile, against Virginia, Scott Milanovic once again efficient for the second consecutive week. George Welsh a little bit worried his team had too much time to bask in the big upset of Florida State, and they did not play well early.
No, they didn't, but that's key there. It's early they didn't play well, but they're coming back. If you get Tiki Barber in the game, running the ball and controlling the ground game, that'll open it up for them. Virginia will win the game, but they started slow probably because of their mindset. They do need to worry about Scott Milanovic getting hot, though.
Talking about looking ahead, Alabama, of course, the big war with Auburn. Mississippi State, the worst defense in the SEC. But Alabama giving them the gifts, the special teams miscues, very uncharacteristic stuff.
Well, Mississippi State's lead 9-0. This is an interesting sidebar in this situation. Jackie Sherrill, the Mississippi State coach, got his house up for sale. Now, I don't know, for tax purposes, I know for sure it's better to own than rent. I don't know how long he's going to be there, right?
You hardly ever bought a house.
I know, I got a house.
Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Michigan and Purdue, the bad weather that was here last night, early this morning, moving east, not that cold, but the sloppy track for the Wolverines. Nobody can get anything going.
And I tell you what you have to worry about there. The team that has to go out and throw the ball, because of those poor conditions, risks the chance of having a big-time miscue. Only thing that needs to happen in this game is one mistake and the other team takes over. If it's Purdue that takes over, Mike Allstott on the ground to be the guy.
You're right. The weather can be a big equalizer. Purdue, they need a lot of equalizers in most games this year. Yeah. Coming up, we'll talk about the bowl picture in the Big Ten, still very much up in the air. But when we continue at halftime, Mike Tirico, more scores and highlights in the Big East. Miami trying to get a piece of that championship in a major bowl bid, visiting the Eagles. Highlights of that coming up.
Time management entails prioritizing, synergizing, organizing,
Earth to business guru. This is difficult. Well, at least Office Max, the office product superstore, is easy. Over 6,000 office products, including quality brand names like Panasonic or Compaq, at guaranteed low prices that won't make that vein on your accountant's forehead bulge. Free delivery, too. Talk about time management. Office Max, we go to the max for you.
Let me guess. One side of you craves easy chair comfort, while the other side itches for performance, right? Well, meet Buick Regal with its famous 3800 V6 engine and Grand Touring suspension. Add to that an all-new interior with body-sensitive seats. And finally, there's a car for the two of you. Buick Regal.
Oh, you didn't get tomatoes?
Nah, I've been kind of on a rut lately, you know. I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. Whopper, no tomatoes.
Change your pace.
Exactly.
Expecting a weave and you bob.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking zig, use egg.
Yeah.
You're a bold man.
The Whopper. It always tastes great because it's always fixed your way, with fries and a drink for just $2.99 every day at Burger King.
So, you out of your rut?
I believe I am.
You're rutless.
Enough with the ruts.
You've been ejected from the Rutmobile. No ruts, no glory.
This halftime report is presented by Office Max. Take your business to the max. Office Max.
186 of total yards in the first half. Michigan leads Purdue by 3. For Miami, this is their final road game today. They've won 5 in a row, and with 2 more in the Orange Bowl against Syracuse and West Virginia, the Canes could be on a very hot roll heading to a potential bowl game. Taking on Boston College in Massachusetts, Miami's first possession. Ryan Clements rush. Goes deep, though. Gerard Daphnis, the backup tight end, over-the-shoulder grab. 56-yard score. Canes up 7-0. And getting it done on defense, Mark Hartzell can't find anyone open. Kennard Lang comes in, gets the sack. It was 7-0 at that point. It's 7-0 now at halftime. Dan McGuire has missed 41 and 30-yard field goals for the Eagles. Great early start from Michigan State, leading in Bloomington by 14. Scott Green, the latest score, a 76-yard punt return. Back to the ACC, where Georgia Tech is trying to stay above 500. A field goal game. They lead North Carolina State by 3. Cincinnati and Kentucky. A little border war here. Kentucky trying to snap out of a 3-game slide, leading by 6. Last Southwest Conference game at Jones Stadium. Texas Tech and TCU all even at 3. And Ball State playing its final game of the season. The only team to beat Central Michigan last year has a 14-0 lead on the Chippewas this afternoon. Bowling Green ending a disappointing season. Their final regular season game up 11 at Dick Stadium against Kent. And Ohio on the board with an early safety, leading by 2 over Miami of Ohio. Miami's second place in the match. Coming up on ESPN2, all the scores and highlights later tonight at 6 Eastern. It's Stuart Scott and Kenny Mayne with Sports Night, the college football edition. That gets you ready for Big Ten football from the Metrodome. Wisconsin really in a must-win situation for their bowl hopes against Jim Wacker's Golden Gophers. That's coming up at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Speaking of bowls, we're going to talk about the Big Ten, the bowl picture, and get you updated on Northwestern. The score has changed in Evanston. All that as the Office Max halftime report continues.
The hazardous driving season is coming. Give yourself a break. Get into a safe, dependable, affordable, winterized Willowbrook Ford used car, truck, or van. Over 300 on sale now. And with your good credit, $99 down delivers your choice. Let us finance you immediately. Let us put you in any vehicle you want immediately. Let us save you thousands immediately at Willowbrook Ford. We give used car dealers a good name. Willowbrook Ford, just off I-55 on Route 83.
Here's a great reason to head into Best Buy today. Buy any computer and monitor at Best Buy and get a $100 gift certificate free. Buy a computer and monitor, get a $100 gift certificate. Use it for software, accessories, a TV, stereo, a bunch of CDs, whatever you want. It's a $100 gift certificate, and it's yours free with a purchase of any computer and monitor. This offer is only good now through Saturday, and it's yet another way we make it easy to get a great price at Best Buy.
This is the Office Max halftime report. Michigan leads 3-0 in our game. In Evanston, remember Northwestern trying to claw back now from an 11-point deficit. Brian Musso picks up the bouncing punt, gets past the Hawkeyes, and he's gone. A 60-yard punt return for touchdown. 14 points in 99 seconds. Northwestern, just like that, from down 11 to up 3. They lead Iowa by the score of 17-14. Of course, Northwestern a part of the Big Ten Bowl picture. Let's talk about that with Chris, Lee, and Craig.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, Brian Musso, the son of Johnny Musso, the great Alabama running back who played some football here in town for the Bears. Barnett said he's the best he's ever seen at handling punts, so that has Northwestern up by a field goal, and that, of course, impacts the bowl situation. We're going to do some projections here and see how the Big Ten Bowl breakdown will look. Now, you have Ohio State. They have to, of course, win out. They have the tiebreaker over Northwestern because of the better overall record if they end up tied. So Northwestern would have the second choice. The Citrus Bowl would love to have the Wildcats take on Tennessee down there. The Outback has the third choice. Michigan and Penn State still have to battle. Find out who's going to be third and fourth in the conference. Iowa needs 2 more victories to become bowl eligible. Michigan State, you saw, leading Indiana. They need another victory to become bowl eligible. Wisconsin and Purdue have to win out to even get in that bowl picture with the 6 wins against 1A teams. So it's still a lot to be settled.
Well, Chris, I love the Rose Bowl's tiebreaker rule, though. And the other teams in the country, including the associate ACC and the Big East, ought to follow this. The rule is this: head-to-head, and then best overall record. To me, that's the best situation to decide who should go to the Rose Bowl and these other bowls.
Head-to-head is the best situation. And right now, Ohio State and Northwestern, they're not going to play each other. And that's why there's a lot of conversation this year, or this particular time of the year, about them having a round-robin tournament again, where all the teams have to play each other. The problem with that, some coaches want to go outside of the Big Ten so they can have big-time games with other opponents. They don't want to be locked into the Big Ten and this region. But the bottom line, you need to do it on the field, I would think, as a coach and as a player.
So you like the head-to-head, which would give Virginia take the edge over, say, Miami, or Virginia over Florida State.
Yeah, head-to-head. Virginia's losing.
Now to the big ball game this afternoon in Columbus, and the bad weather, of course, we told you, has moved. It'll be a sloppy track. Illinois, a big underdog with that good defense. Does it help them out?
Well, it takes away what it does is from the fact that Terry Glenn's hurt. So what? Now you go with Eddie George. Bad weather conditions, we've seen it all over the North right now. You've got to have a good ground game to stay in it. Eddie George will be the key guy. He gets his chance to shine as a Heisman man.
Important point from a coach's standpoint. If Terry Glenn plays, you can't double cover the split inside. You got to keep coverage on him. That leaves the tight end and the split end open for passes. If he doesn't play, you roll the coverage and stop those other 2 guys. He's as good as a decoy as he is a player.
Simeon Rice has not had a sack the last 3 games. Does that hurt the pass rush? That's conventional wisdom on a sloppy track going against Orlando Pace, that great lineman for the Buckeyes.
Put him on the outside like you've been talking about. Just boom, keep George inside.
Just about every soul here in Evanston will be watching that game on ABC later on this afternoon, provided the Wildcats, of course, can hold on to the lead over Iowa. Coming up, Mike Tirico, more scores and highlights, and the second half is ahead at Ann Arbor. The sloppy track, it's the Wolverines and the Boilermakers. Oh, the snowflakes starting to fly.
Time management entails prioritizing, synergizing, reorganizing,
Earth to business guru, this is difficult. Well, at least Office Max, the office product superstore, is easy. Over 6,000 office products, including quality brand names like Panasonic or Compaq, at guaranteed low prices that won't make that vein on your accountant's forehead boom. Free delivery, too. Talk about time management. Office Max, we go to the max for you.
My name's Glenn Jacobs, and I've been a PA here at Sports Center for about 3 months, and it's been really great.
You've embarrassed me on national TV.
I work long hours, sure, but I get a lot of exercise. I mean, it's really cool when one of those guys reads something I've written on the air.
Nice try, Sparky. Nice try. Maybe next time.
4 months ago, I was writing a paper about my idol, Craig Kilborn.
Gary?
Glenn?
Okay.
Here I am getting career advice from him.
2 words for you. Pizza, delivery.
It's incredible.
We're back on the Office Max halftime report. Before we get you back to Ann Arbor, a great college rivalry today on ESPN2. Amherst and Williams. This is the final play of the game. It's scoreless in the fourth quarter. The Amherst quarterback, Rich Willard's intercepted. And now Williams trying to keep alive a 21-game winning streak. Well, boy, it's a good thing that a kid from Amherst wasn't there to intercept that attempted lateral. The game ends in a scoreless tie, snapping the 21-game win streak. This game had 19 punts for a scoreless tie in this great rivalry since 1906. Back to Division I. Let's get you updated on some scores. That Warwick Dunn's second touchdown. They're now at halftime. The Seminoles lead by 15. Virginia and Maryland, late stages second quarter, all even at 11. A Maryland drive was just thwarted. Clemson and Duke remained 7-0 as Clemson looks to make it 4 straight wins. That game's in Death Valley. Alabama, we can update this game. The Crimson Tide have scored. Dennis Riddle, he scored the touchdown to beat Mississippi State last year. 7-yard touchdown here. The Mississippi State lead is 2. Freddie Kitchens, the starting quarterback in this game for the Tide. Temple is leading Virginia Tech 6-3. This game being played at RFK in Washington. Tech has won 7 straight games. And a wild game in Bloomington. Michigan State and Indiana have added 2 more touchdowns. A second special team score for the Spartans. They lead by 14. The rest of the day on ESPN looks like this. In primetime, an SEC doubleheader. Auburn between the hedges for Georgia, and then Florida at South Carolina at 8 Eastern. And, time permitting after the game, the Residents Inn scoreboard. Second half from Ann Arbor coming up.
They say the secret to selling beer in America is to have a jingle in your commercial. Michael Shea's Irish Amber. I'll see you at the beer store. An American sports fan recently suggested we get one of the Celtics to endorse our beer. Trouble is, they're ancient history. But don't let that discourage you from picking up Michael Shea's Irish Amber. I'll see you at the beer store.
Check out the huge storage savings at Menards. Save on our entire selection of closet organizers from Lee Rowan. Choose from several sizes starting at just $9.97 after mail-in rebate. Save on a wide selection of wall arms from Orbital Holdings. Great for television, speakers, computers, and more. A TV wall arm is just $24.99 after rebate. Save more on storage at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
When you want to play sports at an NCAA Division I or II school,
You must be certified by the NCAA Initial Eligibility Clearinghouse. Ask your coach or guidance counselor for one of these student release forms. Fill it out and send it to the clearinghouse. Remember, if you're not certified, you can't compete as a freshman in NCAA Division I or II. For more information, call 319-337-1492.
Welcome back once again to windy and chilly Ann Arbor, Michigan. Joel Myers along with Todd Christensen. The wind definitely a huge factor, especially in the second half of a tight game. And Todd, you don't see a team defer their option to the second half to give up the ball to start the second half and give it away twice to start the game. But that looks like what the situation is going to be for the University of Michigan. They let Purdue, and they deferred for their option to the second half. They let Purdue have the ball to start the game, and they're going to do the same for the second half because of the wind.
Well, I would think that the statistics right here would reveal that this isn't exactly what you'd call an offensive juggernaut. You can see that Purdue has compiled 50 total yards, and Michigan only 136. So needless to say, it's a defensive contest. It's going to be won by either a mistake in the kicking game, a fumble, a turnover, something of that nature. And obviously, Michigan's defense has been so fantastic in the first half. That's the way they want to start it again. And so Purdue has their work cut out for them this quarter. As they've struggled offensively, now they must do it into the wind.
So the Boilermakers sending back once again on the kickoff return, Lee Johnson.
And Jim Coletta, the head coach, I'm looking at, you know what, Joel, I just really don't like that decision at the end of the half. Even if they go for it and don't get it, at least you've got a little confidence psychologically with your offense. Right now, you only have 50 yards total offense. It's not just the fact that you're struggling in the literal sense, but in the subconscious, you're saying to yourself, well, we're not even sure if we can get 2 yards in a crucial situation, and that doesn't bode well.
Not exactly a pick-me-up for the offensive unit. Joe Hagens going back with Lee Johnson. Back at the 5-yard line for the Boilermakers. Feely, the place kicker for Purdue. Jay Feely is going to need help once again, so holding the ball for Michigan. It's going to be Steve King, the free safety. So Michigan is going to kick it away. The wind to the back of the place kicker doesn't mean much on this knuckleball, though. And Lee Johnson will take it from the 8. And Johnson with a solid return across the 25 gives the Boilermakers the first down at the 27. It's a little interesting that Purdue is going to have the wind at their back in the fourth quarter, as it turns out, that Michigan didn't elect to kick it the other way and take the win for the final 15 minutes of play.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. Take a look at the comparison between the two. Allstott has been a non-factor in the first half. Biaka Batuka, nearly 100 yards already. That one scintillating 37-yard run down the sideline, the bulk of that yardage.
Surprised you a little bit?
Biaka Batuka's numbers, no. Allstott's, yes. Yeah, really did. I thought he'd have bigger numbers.
At the 27, it's the first down. Allstott breaking the initial tackle in the backfield for yards, the 28. Sam Sword, well, the first one in to wrap him up. You know, I am surprised, though, that they're not taking the win for the fourth quarter, but here in the third quarter.
Well, what the theory behind this is the way they started the game, which was 3 and out. And if the punter can only get one sent at midfield of the 45, Biaka Batuka takes off a couple of chunks, and they can punch in the end zone. 10-0 on a day like this could be insurmountable.
The wind is not just moving the flags, it's bending the poles today. You can see the uprights doing the same to the big, thick flagpole. Next to the uprights at the south end. 2nd and 8. Give Allstott a couple on first down. Treacherous footing. You can see the little ginger gingerly on his footing as he gets a couple of more up to the 30. And we head back to the studio now and Mike Tirico. Mike.
And we send you on this McDonald's breakaway to Evanston. Northwestern, we showed you the punt return by Musso. Up 3. Back comes Iowa, Matt Sherman. 39 yards, a foot race, and some upper body strength that Scott Slutzker wins. Iowa up 3 at the half.
It would be a huge upset considering the way Iowa performed at home last week against Illinois right here on ESPN. So now 3rd and 6 outside of the 30 for the Boilermakers. Tretzker has a receiver, and it's Oliver Donnie. He loses it. Allstott, Johnny on the spot. He's got for the first down at the 41.
He really was. You know, you look at that situation into the wind. Boy, that's a tough throw. Tresker does a great job. He does a tremendous job. It's just going to be a basic hook pattern. Right here at the bottom, he's going to come across, just settle down, tough throw into the wind. Now he's going to get the helmet on the ball. Allstott hustling behind is able to get the fumble. You know, they're always talking about the fact that this is a throwback guy, somebody who does not quit, who gives his all in every play. He certainly could have been loafing there and not been there. Instead, he's hustling behind the play, prevents a turnover.
First and 10. That's the first time they've converted on a third down today. Tresker with time, and he's got a receiver picked up by Woodson. Woodson inside the 40 on the interception. And the true freshman from Fremont, Ohio, has his third interception of the season.
And the head coach, Jim Coletta, is the one that got hit in the eye there at the end of the play. I hope he's all right. But that's a great play by Woodson. Two factors as to why he was able to pick that ball off. One, certainly the wind slows down the velocity of the football. And the second thing, he's a left-hander rolling right. Take a look at, remember, this is the play that earlier he had run for 13 yards so effectively. Now he has the same situation. The man appears open, but Woodson, you can see the ball slowing down going into the wind. Woodson able to pick it off, gets knocked out of bounds right into the coach. Take a look at the foot. Ooh, look at that.
Foot came up
and caught him in the eye.
We'll give you an update, and hopefully Jim Coletta is okay on the Purdue bench. Be right back to Ann Arbor.
Why does a red wolf travel in a pack? So there's enough to go around for everyone. Really red, really smooth. Red wolf. Follow your instincts.
You could never shave again. You could go into work tomorrow and tell them you're taking a year off. When people ask for your honest opinion, you can give it to them. But while you're considering these options, driving a Saab is a very good start. The Saab 900, a Consumer's Digest Best Buy in 94 and 95.
Look what Daddy can juggle with his Nokia cellular phone, a rubber duck, and a teddy bear, a Nokia cellular phone, a rubber duck, and a teddy bear. And with my Nokia cellular phone, I can juggle something even more amazing. My schedule.
One-touch dialing makes a Nokia cellular phone easy to use.
Hello. Amazing.
Nokia cellular phones.
Red wolf. Disappearing nightly. Really red, really smooth. Red wolf. Follow your instincts.
They've been working feverishly in the corner of Jim Coletta to close that little mouse under his eye. Fortunately, he is okay.
Look at the end of the play. You can see Woodson's cleat come up. Watch, it catches him right in the eye. Now watch his reaction. You can see he's going to grab his eye. He's obviously in a fair amount of pain.
Chris Floyd, the single set, takes it on first down for the Wolverines. He gets 3, almost 4.
That was a rarity. You don't often see the fullback make the catch. You can't, he's very upset. You wonder if it's because he's in pain or because of the interception. Actually, if you saw earlier, they put a Band-Aid on it, Joel, and he just ripped it right off. Said, no, I'm tough. I can handle it.
He is a tough customer. 2nd and 6 now, outside of the 33. So we welcome you back to Ann Arbor after the pick by the cornerback Woodson. Great field position for new territory for the Wolverines. And the bobble by the running back Chris Howard loses a couple, almost 3 yards, back to the 36. And we remind you, ESPN's presentation of college football is being brought to you this afternoon by Saab, who invites you to find your own road. Now, you talk about a true home field advantage. New jerseys at halftime for the Michigan Wolverines, so they get the soggy, wet ones off. Purdue does not have that same luxury.
And that is a factor because you go in at halftime and it's wet and it's cold, and that doesn't warm up. You can stand the heater all you want.
3rd and 9. Play action for Greasy. Trying to find his footing, and it's poked knocked away by the linebacker O'Connor as they wanted Mercury Hayes. So the nice deep drop by the middle linebacker, and Bob O'Connor, as the coaches told us, the heartbeat of this squad.
And he does a great job, but the thing is they've only got 2 guys out in the pattern. You can see both tight ends stay in to block. Look at all the white shirts. Now as he throws the middle, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white shirts and only 2 black shirts, maize shirts, or blue shirts rather, hello. Actually, it's six white shirts and only 2 blue shirts.
Boilermakers are worried about a flag deep in the secondary, though.
Dead ball foul. First call. Find the defense. After the 4th down play was over, we will penalize it. It'll be first down, Purdue.
And it was actually 3rd and long. 3rd and 9, but they penalized Purdue, and what a huge break for the Wolverines.
Well, there's a big argument in the secondary. You can see now off the side is Derek Brown, the free safety. He's the one that's been putting some serious hits on some people. I wonder if he's ejected, Joel.
So now they take it down to the 21. First down, Michigan, to keep the drive alive. Otherwise, a punting situation on 4th and 9. And Davis, not Biakapatuka, but Davis for his 3, almost 4. Brought down by Aaron Hall, the outside linebacker.
They have to wonder what the situation is with Biakapatuka, because Joel, you had to figure that halftime he had plenty of time to rest, comes out in the first series, and they had 2 different tailbacks, both reserve tailbacks starting. I wonder if he's banged up a little bit.
Dr. Bruce Monty, the SID here at Michigan, who said he was a little bit nicked up, and that's probably why they didn't use him around the goal line, and they used Ed Davis. That second situation where they had first and goal. So now 2nd and 7. Out of the 18. Davis again. Not much available on the left side. Washell quickly over there with Crick, the co-captain. Other Big Ten stores, as well as ACC.
You know, if you're the defensive member of this Purdue team, you got to be saying, please, offense, you got to do something. They've been spending, it seems like, you know, the entire game on the field, getting beat up by that big offensive line of Michigan, and yet at this point they're still hanging tough.
Well, a couple of first downs in the first half for Purdue. You're right, that defense has been out there a lot. Here comes 3rd and long. Greasy in trouble. Can he run for the first down? No, he will not get there unless he gets a real favorable spot. He was put down at the 12. They'll mark it just inside the 12. Hall caught up with him. The outside backer once again, and another co-captain.
He's been having a big game today, not just the interception, but the big tackles that he has made. Number 39 for Purdue has been outstanding.
Bob Greasy with the hat on, watching his son, Brian. Now the 4th down situation, they're going to go for it. So the former Boilermaker, it's an unusual situation, working on the Wolverine radio broadcast. 4th and less than a yard.
Carr is the fullback. Got the big defensive lineman there as fullback, Joel.
And it's going to be Carr spinning for the first down inside the 11.
Now I got to tell you, that it may not seem like a big deal, because you've seen that happen a lot of times with running backs. But that's a 275, 280-pound man who was able to make a very athletic play in spinning off and getting it. Take a look in the middle. He's gonna collide, and you figure that that's all he's in there for, is just to run straight ahead. But he runs up the back of the center, spins, and makes the 360 and gets the first down. If he does not make the spin, it's Purdue football.
Did he leave early, or is that just me?
He's trying to show off his quickness. In the film, he'll be able to tell everybody, I'm the quickest of the 3 backs.
Ed Davis, you're 6 to set in a 2 tight end formation. And he just follows that big wall in front of him down to the 6-yard line for a gain of close to 5. Washell finally getting to the running back, but not much of a hole, just the surge.
Well, the indication here, Joel, is, as I mentioned earlier, is that Purdue's got to be getting a little bit fatigued.
Cold day, wet day to be out there that long, and they were on the field for most of the first half. It's about 6 minutes gone by in the 3rd quarter, a 3-0 lead for Michigan. They can pick up the first down just inside the 1. And Biakapatuka stays on the sideline as Davis stays in the backfield. recovers it back near the 9. He's had problems all day long coming away from the center with the ball. Didn't see this kind of weather playing for Columbus High School in Miami, did
No, not at all. See if he comes back a little bit early. He didn't. He just didn't get the snap. And actually, he's lucky to get it at all because he's colliding there with his lineman. His father not terribly happy with what he sees.
They're now 3rd and 8 back at the 9-yard line. The wide receiver formation. And trouble. And Greasy goes down. Washell gets to him. So once again, they get it inside the 10 all the way down to the 6, only to be turned away by a very stout effort by the defensive unit.
And Jamie Washell is just having an outstanding football game at defensive tackle. Look at that. He's the double team right in the middle. He fights off both the center and the guard and outruns the quarterback. He's able to get to Greasy. Great effort on the part of number 51, Jamie Washell.
So now 34-yard field goal try. Coming up for Remy Hamilton. The holder really important for positions like they are today. Reimbursement, the tight end.
And don't forget last time it was blocked.
Missed into this one and pulls it wide left. So once again, they come away empty deep in Purdue territory. Don't capitalize on the Woodson pick. And it's still the Boilermakers down by only 3.
Have you heard the word on the bird at Mickey D's? For a limited time, get 2 of a kind. 2 for 2, 2 for just $2. For real. 2 6-piece chicken McNuggets for just $2. Oh, dipping McNuggets in savory, savory sauces. Ooh, too tasty. Or 2 McChicken sandwiches, 2 for $2. It's McDonald's price. What a break, what a break, a break of which I will partake. Have you had your break today?
You could take 49 cubic feet of junk mail, old tax returns, and all that other baggage. Launch it up a treacherous mountain road and bid it a fond farewell. The Saab 900. Find your own road. Saab.
Name's Bond. James Bond.
United Artists presents
I enjoy a spirited ride as much as the next girl. Who's that?
The next girl.
the return of James Bond.
This morning, Q. Sorry about the leg.
Bond is back. GoldenEye, rated PG-13, starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Well, the Purdue players can definitely draw inspiration from their head coach. One of the trainers tried to put a Band-Aid on Jim Coletto, almost out of Blazing Saddles. We don't need these Band-Aids. First and 10, Boilermakers at their own 20. Allstott waiting for a hole to develop. It was never there. And that's been the story for Allstott all day long. Irons the first one over there.
The hold is okay. I prefer the one-finger hold because of the compression of the ball, but watch the left foot of Hamilton. Watch it skid just a little as it plans. See as it skids a little bit and he's just a little bit off? That's what caused him to hook it.
Tough day for Remy Hamilton. Came in 14 of 18 on the season. Strong numbers. He's only 1 of 4 today. Let's face it, the rotten conditions at Michigan Stadium.
And coming into today, had a career 82%. Outstanding kicker, All-American last year.
Second and 10. Trepka with some time. Trying to go underneath the tight end Blackman, but incomplete. ...127 consecutive games Michigan Stadium has had better than 100,000 people in the stands. To give you an idea of how tough these weather conditions are. I don't know if we have 50, 55,000 on hand today. Third and 10. Back at the Boilermakers 20. Allstott Again, good penetration to the backfield. And coming up, David Bowens. He didn't make the stop, but he's definitely slowed him down.
Well, of course, Jared Irons is in on the play as well. What Purdue tried to do there was spread some people out. They flexed Watson out at a flanker, but it didn't fool number 37, Jared Irons. And I'm surprised you haven't brought this up, Joel. Yes, I did play with his dad, Gerald. So you know. Great linebacker, number 86 for the Oakland Raiders, and later with the Cleveland Browns. His son following in his footsteps. I tell you what, boy, his dad, Gerald, had some guns on him. I mean, he had some bicep jacks. I mean, he was put together.
Degnan in the punt once again. He's been the busiest Boilermaker. Another 3 and out for the Purdue offense. Devontae Toomer waits. And another knuckleball. So Michigan's going to have great field position. We'll spot it at the 37. And Coletto can't believe it.
A 15-yard punt.
Sunday night NFL on ESPN. John Elway of the Denver Broncos. 5-4 mark against the 5-4 Philadelphia Eagles. Shannon Sharp, one of the best in the game. Ricky Waters leading the Eagles offensive unit. Join us 8 o'clock Eastern Sunday night. The NFL on ESPN. My kind of guys.
Is it just me, or is it Dallas? Is Dallas 8-1 and the rest of the league 5-4? It just feels that way, doesn't it, a little bit?
It's a strange year in the NFL.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
There seems to be about 6 or 8 teams, and then a huge drop-off for the rest of the NFL. On first down, Greasy dumping it. Toomer waiting for the block. Almost got the big kick-out block from the center, Rod Payne. Still, he takes it down to the 28, and that's a big play in a game where there have been very few plays of more than 7-8 yards. Bianca Batuka, we understand, has a calf strain. They think he may be able to return, but right now, it's back by committee, and Clarence Williams is in there.
This is a great play for a lot of reasons. One, they haven't done it. It gets the ball in Toomer's hands so he doesn't get discouraged, and it's a very safe pass to reestablish Greasy's confidence.
And now second and short. How often have we said that today for either team? Second and a yard. And the new back, you can tell, he's got a real clean jersey. Clarence Williams, a true freshman out of Cass Tech in Detroit. Picks up the first down inside the 27 to the 26. Brought down by Bob O'Connor.
Well, if nothing else, Bianca Batuka's got to be feeling good about the fact that it's taken now, 4 or 5 different guys to replace him. I mean, they've been throwing in all sorts of fresh bodies.
Frustration has got to set in, though, if Michigan can come away with points. The second consecutive drive in this half. They started at the Purdue 37.
Yeah, the odds have to be in the favor of Tresker and Purdue to at least get something mounted. And the way things are going, if they get one drive mounted and stick it in the end zone, well, they'd be up.
Williams getting the call, weaving his way nicely up the middle. Down inside the 25, close to the 21. And Washell wrapped up the running back.
Well, you know what? They say he may be back. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I mean, if the guy's got the jacket on right here with his team on offense, only up 3-0, he's not out there, I don't like his chance of getting back in the game.
So essentially you're saying he's got everything but his pads off.
Well, but that's the football thing. You still keep your pads on because you're a part of the group. I never understood that.
4:15 and counting. Michigan by 3. Greasy looking on the quick out. Turned in for Toomer. And he can't hang on. Not a pass throw at all, though, by Brian Greasy. Don't forget, coming up later, Todd and I will be selecting the Kelly Springfield Players of the Game. Special teams definitely could determine the outcome of this one. So now big third down for Greasy in the offensive unit. 3rd and 6. Haven't had a lot of success on third down so far today. They're only 1 of 11. He hasn't hit a pass on a third down today. The delay. Big hole for Thompson. He's got the first down to the 15. And check that, Clarence Williams with the first down run brought down by Bob O'Connor.
That's a good call. It's a good call. They've been ineffective throwing the ball, come back with the draw. Look at the offensive line of Michigan creating a big gap in the middle. O'Connor falls off to make the tackle, but not before he gets the first down. It's a good call by Fred Jackson. Right in the middle.
The deep penetration again for the Wolverines. Can they finally capitalize on the great field position, though? Williams belts into the backfield. Craig Williams got in early, the right end.
Williams carried.
He's a senior.
It's almost as if,
Illinois.
You know what? It's almost like Pavlov's dog here, Joel. I mean, they give up the yardage, and all of a sudden they get inside the 10, and Purdue gets overly aggressive and anticipates what's happening. Comes to the top of your screen. Look at that. You're right. Boy, he fought off Runyon, and Runyon, potential All-American candidate, and from what I hear, a lot of people seem to feel like this is a left tackle that should be in the first 2 rounds of the draft.
Definitely beat Runyon with an inside move there. So now 2nd and 10 back at the 15. Plenty of time for Greasy. Mercury Hayes underneath. Finds Lake Michigan.
And look, he was doing the butterfly. That was funny. Bob O'Connor did an outstanding job of bumping him as he came across the field. Hayes runs the hook. Watch the middle of your field. Watch number 66. He's going to bump Hayes, but he can't run with him. Obviously, he's not called Mercury for nothing, and he's able to run away. Now, as O'Connor and Hall knock him out of bounds, splash. I give it a 5-2.
We won't call you the Russian judge. I liked it better than that. 3rd and long now. 3rd and 7 from the 12. The delay. Good moves. Can he get there? Touchdown, Michigan, and Clarence Williams. But there is a flag at the offensive line. So one goes the Boilermakers' way, as the penalty is going to be marked off against the Wolverines and deny them that touchdown.
Well, you knew that one right away, Joel, simply because it was the referee, not the umpire, that threw the flag. It's interesting because Brian Greasy tried to debate. Watch right here. Take a look at the grab. He's got a hold of him. Now watch as he tries to come up. Right there when he can't get his right arm out and he gets the takedown. That's what the officials see. Watch him try to get the right arm out. It doesn't come out, and as a result, that's what the officials see. Zach Adamy is the one who gets called for the hold.
Other scores, college football today. So Michigan denied. Can they come up big on a 3rd and 17? About 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Don't forget they've got the wind at their back through this 15 minutes of play. Toomer on the lateral pass, looking for Hayes, puts it up for grabs, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Jamel Coleman. So the razzle-dazzle doesn't fool the Boilermakers.
Not only didn't fool the Boilermakers, they had 2 different people that could have picked that off. Yeah, I really hate that play, and here's why. You've got a situation to where you're not going to get the first down anyway. Get enough to where you can get a field goal.
Purdue comes up big defensively once again. They get it back at their own 20.
Muhammad Ali is my brother. When we was kids, he used to get me to throw rocks at him so he could practice ducking and weaving. He had natural ability, but he was short on muscles, so he trained hard and got real strong. So strong that he went on to be the greatest heavyweight of all time.
22 years old. I must be the greatest. Hurry in for the hot deals at Menards. Save money on your heating bill with a Honeywell thermostat. A wide selection is on sale, including a programmable model, easy to set for maximum savings, just $39.97. Stay warm with a heater from Cadet. Save on baseboard and wall heaters. Easy to install for maximum comfort. This wall heater is only $59.88. Warm up to fall savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
I mean, like, be there. In the paint, kissing it off the glass. In the red zone. In the slot, cranking a slap shot. Flat out on a straightaway. It's all about coverage. Like NHL hockey 3 nights a week. 175 NCAA basketball games. A great college football lineup. And the most complete NASCAR and IndyCar coverage on television. Want to feel it? Forget the contact and contact your cable or satellite provider.
The sophomore from Indianapolis, Jamel Coleman, coming up with a big play. The interception for the Boilermakers, but a bad break for Purdue when initially they looked like they were going to put it to the 20. Boilermakers get it down for 3.
Well, here's the other thing, too. If Jamel Coleman can just let it go, and of course you don't want to just let an interception go, but someone else would have picked it off. In this case, it would have been Derek Brown who would have picked it off and had some momentum going the other direction. Instead, now they're stuck at the 3.
And Allstott barely gets past the 3, possibly to the 4, and that is all. Well, we told you how chilly it is this afternoon. We got over to the ballpark. It was just raining. It was about 50 degrees. Now it's down to 32, and because of the wind, which is gusting upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour, the wind chill, a very comfortable 8 below. 3-0 Michigan, 2:22, deuces wild left in the third quarter.
And yet, there you see Jamel in the short sleeves. Didn't face him any. Tough guy.
He didn't find Lake Michigan on the Michigan sideline. 2nd and 9 now from the 4. The new back loses his footing. That was Kevin Sellers, or check that.
It's Kendall Matthews.
Yes, for the first time today carried the ball.
And you know what? Had he not stumbled, nobody touched him. He'd have had some yardage. Fresh legs.
He is listed as a reserve tight end. He's working out of the backfield on that play. So now 3rd and 9. The wind in the face of the Boilermakers as you're thinking about a possible pass. Allstott on the delay. And a punting situation coming up for the Boilermakers. 6th time today, they have gone 3 and out with a punt.
And don't forget that Degnan's last punt was only 15 yards. And the cheers are for the Michigan defense, which has been outstanding. But then again, in fairness to them, no more outstanding than Purdue's, which has been under much more duress.
Seventh punt coming up for Rob Degnan. Schumer standing just inside the 40. Good play by Degnan to get up and get it. And you see the wind knock it down just like a wedge shot into the wind. It stops. And now it's out of bounds at the 26. Michigan's got great field position. We check in with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Wow, Joel, just rain in Chapel Hill. Florida State's offense quiet for the first part of the third quarter. Now gets it done. Get out to Andre Cooper. Cooper's 12th TD reception of the year. One away from the school's single-season record. Knowles by 22.
Making it look too easy, Mike. They'll just rain there and just sleet here in Ann Arbor. 32 seconds left in the third quarter. Don't forget, though, Purdue, if they can hold them here, it's a tall order with the way their defense has been out there for most of the third quarter and most of the first half, in fact. Only a couple of first downs in the first half for the Boilermakers offensively. They will have the wind at their back the final 15 minutes of play. The delay. The fresh legs of Clarence Williams bouncing around inside the 25, down to the 22 for a pickup of close to 4.
How many more times? You get in that huddle if you're Purdue, you say, how many more times can we do this? Can we hang on? And as you pointed out, Joel, if they continue to do it, if they can just hang in there, even force them again to kick a field goal, good or bad, still one score away.
And the knock, of course, coming into the contest, at least before the Wisconsin game, Purdue would have a much better record if their defense just came through this year. Well, their defense has definitely held up their end of the agreement so far today after 3.
State Farm presents the rules of the game.
We're talking about clipping. In this play, we have clipping behind the line of scrimmage. From where do we assess the penalty?
When young policyholders come to me, I look at them and think, boy, that was me 15 years ago. I remember very well how quickly things changed for Debbie and me. Marriage, children, our first house. That's exactly why State Farm's family insurance checkups are such a good idea. Your agent helps you put it all in perspective so you can make the right decisions. The way you were 5 years ago is not the way you are today. It's comforting to me when I can say to my policyholders, hey, I've been there.
We're talking about clipping. In this play, the offense is guilty of the foul.
Penalize the offensive team 15 yards from the spot of the foul.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You could never shave again. You could go into work tomorrow and tell them you're taking a year off. When people ask for your honest opinion, you could give it to them. But while you're considering these options, driving a Saab is a very good start. The Saab 900, a Consumer's Digest Best Buy in 94 and 95.
Introducing Membership Rewards from American Express, a rewards program that makes every dollar you spend add up to a world of choices just by using the card. For a gift, something you need. The possibilities seem endless, and all of them are free. With the Membership Rewards program, you decide where to use your rewards and what works best for you. So enroll today in Membership Rewards. Call 1-800-AXP-EARN.
Stop at Pep Boys now for our premium brake service. Our ASE certified technicians will install Raybestos lifetime warranty brakes for only $99.99. Get lifetime brakes installed for under $100. Only at Pep Boys. Roll into Pep Boys right now and get a full set of 4 70,000-mile tires for just $169. That's any size, any 4 70,000-mile tires in stock for just $169 at Pep Boys now. It's back by committee for the fourth quarter for the Wolverines of Michigan as Tim Biakapatuka out with a calf strain. So right now, Chris Howard is the tailback, and Greasy's throwing on 2nd and 6. Going underneath for Remersma, who is belted by the linebacker, Aaron Hall. Hall has played an outstanding game sideline to sideline.
Yeah, he really has, and done it on both ends, both in pass coverage and run support.
You mentioned he had to make the move over the weak side backer spot. That time he picks up the tight end who was sliding across, but he definitely made a transition and a move for the good of the team. Big difference where Michigan has started with the ball as opposed to Purdue in the second half. The drive started at 26. It's 3rd and 3 now for the Wolverines. Greasy had the man in the flat and still gets the first down underneath the Mercury Hayes at the 14. Bob O'Connor making the stop, but not before Mercury Hayes comes up with a big 3rd down conversion.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line of Michigan. They gave Greasy plenty of time. Watch the right of your screen as he comes in. Mercury Hayes runs a swirl. Now he's going to sit down, pushes off the linebacker just a little bit, and Greasy's able to get it in there. If he doesn't have the time to do the little bit of a push and that pass is not completed, offensive line for Michigan deserves credit there.
Michigan with only 3 points today. You can see the problems they've had inside the 20, inside the red zone. Big stop by Washell. Looked like it was going to be a huge gain for Clarence Williams. He gets about 4, and we go back to Mike Tirico. Mike.
From Michigan to the banks of Lake Michigan, Northwestern takes the second half kickoff, drives down the field, and a 69-yard drive is capped by a 3-yard Darnell Autry touchdown run, his 15th of the year. Northwestern retakes the lead.
The darlings of college football, the Wildcats, on top with Ohio State in the conference. Number 5 in the nation.
Purple pride, purple pride.
Good for college football. What a great sport. Down to the 11. We're at 2nd and 7. Good protection again for Brian Greasy. Going underneath to his tailback, Chris Howard. It's complete. Close to the 5, O'Keefer. Stopping the running back, but close to another first down. Short by a couple.
Big situation here on 3rd down, and you know what? Here's my guess, is that because of the fact that they've struggled so much in the kicking game, I think they're in 4-down territory here, Joel. They could go off tackle, do whatever they wanted here on 3rd. Safe pass here, good tackle by O'Keefer, but now you got a situation where you've got 3rd and 2. Jamie Washell, who's been a problem earlier, this time they held him out.
Zach Adamy, the left guard, doing a good job protecting his quarterback. They've got the bull in the backfield. Carr, he is going to get it. And will they get to the first down marker?
He's going to be short. It appears from this vantage point that he is going to be a little bit short, but as I say, the way the kicking game's been going, I think they're going to go for it.
So it's going to be 4th down. Only a foot or two required for the first down. Lloyd Carr's Wolverines, they lead it by 3.
You know, if they were to fake here, any kind of fake, any kind of option, any kind of bootleg, he could just walk into the end zone because they're so jammed up in there.
Spotlight on big number 96. William Carr, the junior from Carter High School in Dallas. 4th and less than a yard. It's Carr.
He didn't get it.
I don't believe so. No. Boy, Purdue's defense comes up big again. And the Boilermakers will get it back.
And I got to tell you, Joel, that is just some atrocious play calling. You got a situation where you got a dominant offensive line. All you have to do is take your receivers out, set up as you normally set up, spread the white shirts out. They don't do that. They jam them in, do the exact same play back-to-back, and they don't come up with it.
This has got to be depressing for Wolverine fans, the kind of field position they've had in the second half.
Look at O'Connor over the top, and O'Keefer with him. Boy, I tell you what, that's just a great effort by the backers of Purdue because you know, Joel, the combination of all the factors that are working against them, the weather inside the 20, their gas, yet they continue to come up with it. What an outstanding job by the Purdue defense.
It's amazing they've been shut out, Todd, in the second half, starting at the Michigan 37 twice, and his last one at the Michigan 26. Don't forget the Senior PGA Tour Championship coming up right after our contest in Ann Arbor. And the leaderboard has Jim Colbert on top by 3 over Aoki. Warco and Irwin 5 off the pace. So join us, second-round coverage of PGA Senior Tour Championship right after our football on ESPN.
And Joel, now the point that you made earlier comes into play. That is that Purdue is going to be going with the wind here in the fourth quarter.
Will it come back and burn Lloyd Carr? The decision he made to take the win in the third quarter instead of the fourth. Pressure, Tretzker goes down, safety for Michigan. Clarence Thompson again with the corner blitz.
Here he's going to come. He comes from the blind side, and he just can't see him. There's no way to pick him up. The guard is covered. He comes in. Outstanding blitz. There's just no way that Tretzker had any chance at all.
So Clarence Thompson, the junior from King High School in Detroit, giving Michigan their first 2 points of the second half.
We've been making tires for more than 100 years. And at our age, some might suggest we're over the hill. They're absolutely right. Kelly Springfield, America's oldest tire company.
Over the past 3 years, Dodge has offered a choice of more new nameplates than anybody else. Here are 3 more new choices that make it easier for you to drive an incredibly sophisticated 96 Dodge Stratus. Choose $500 cash savings, or an interest rate as low as 1.9%. Or choose a Stratus lease rate of only $229 per month. The Dodge Buyer's Choice Sale. The choice is all yours at the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Oh, isn't that cute? What? You guys are like the 3 bears. You're double Whopper, Whopper, Whopper Jr., Bing, Bang, Boom.
I'm hungry, so what?
Well, nothing just sort of struck me as funny.
So what are you saying? I'm like the mama bear?
A Whopper value meal for any size appetite, starting at $1.99 every day at Burger King. That's getting your burger's worth.
Hey, baby bear, you gonna finish those fries?
Yes. Ooh, somebody needs a nap.
Not a bad call by the Michigan defensive coordinator.
No, absolutely not. Given the circumstances, you had to think that Greg Madison was ahead of the game. He was the guy that wasn't surprised by the play-action pass, calling the corner blitz. A gutsy call if the kid looks the other direction, but he doesn't. As a result, 2 points for the Wolverines.
So the Wolverines now with a 5-0 lead in the 8th inning. 11:47.
Very good. It does.
Left in the contest. And
nice catch. Look at that.
Mercury Hayes back at the 16. Toomer, the leading blocker, forget it. Good coverage at the 21 by the Boilermakers. So we saw Carr fail on 4th down to start it all off.
Gets bad footing, but again, O'Connor and O'Keefe are the ones that make the big play. Purdue has some momentum, but the momentum disappears. Carr's saying, what happened? That play's work. What's the deal? You can read lips right there. That's what he says. What happened? But the momentum was short-lived. Here he comes in the safety blitz. Thompson just hammers Tresker in the end zone. As a result, a 5-0 lead.
Not the first time they've used Thompson on that quarter blitz today.
Second time it's been successful. This time it was a 2-run home.
They'll take it. In the eye. They bring back out Clarence Williams. He'll get it under the leg. And he loses the ball. The offensive lineman, I think, covered it. Was it Runyon, the left tackle?
It was. And you know what? That was an outstanding recovery. Very close. He had the ball between his shoulder pad and his wrist. Watch the bottom of your screen after the ball is fumbled. O'Keefe sprints over and tries to get it. O'Keefe's the one that strips it. Now watch the ball where it is. Wedged right. Ooh, just lucky to come up with that. Usually the linemen don't have that good of hands, Joel.
What a punch by O'Keefe on the way by. So Runyon avoiding disaster for Michigan at the 11-minute mark. And now Williams heads over to the bench after that play. And coming into the backfield now, Ed Davis. Boston 3, 2nd and 13. Davis wrapped up by Greg Smith trying the right side. We head back to the studio on Mike Tirico. Mike, what's the latest?
Joel, Alabama started in a 9-0 hole, but they're coming back thanks to the running of Dennis Riddle, who is over 100 yards already today. He has 145, including 2 on this touchdown run, tied by 5.
Thanks, Mike. You know, tell number 4, you got to know where the ball is.
Yeah, he's a little confused there. No eyes in the back of his head. What's up?
So 5-0 game here in Ann Arbor. The weather conditions have really throttled the 2 offensive units. And now 3rd and 9 for the Wolverines. The low throw. Did Mercury Hayes get it? No. It was a trap. Tried to go down and scoop it.
Well, I haven't been in that situation before, Joel. Of course, you know that I never beg for catches like that. However...
You grovel a little, though.
Yeah, I could be a little subservient. Watch the ball. Watch the ball. Does he get his hands underneath the ball? That's the question. Does it skip? Well, his hands are underneath it, but right there you can see that the ball hits the grass. He's able to surround it. But his thespian ability is to no avail with the striped shirt.
Now a huge play for the special teams. Parasteris ready to punt into that stiff wind. The end-over-ender. Olabadani stays away from it. And Purdue will have it at their own 43. So finally, some field position for the Boilermakers. We'll come back and see what they can do with it.
Over the past 3 years, Dodge has offered a choice of more new nameplates than anybody else. Here are 3 more new choices that make it easier for you to drive a technically stunning 96 Dodge Intrepid. Like cash savings of $1,000, or an interest rate as low as 1.9%, or choose an Intrepid lease rate of only $259 a month. The Dodge Buyer's Choice Sale. The choice is all yours at the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Here we go. Whopper Junior Value Meal. Whopper for me and a double Whopper.
Thanks, man.
Double Whopper. I'm scared of you.
It's good. It's as big as the American way. Big cars, big houses, big food.
At Burger King, get the flame-broiled taste of a Whopper value meal for just your size appetite at just your size price, starting at $1.99. And get your burger's worth.
And what about moderation?
Moderation's cool, if there's a whole lot of it.
Burger King, get your burger's worth.
The family of the future will have many hundreds of television channels.
Gee, mister, won't that be confusing?
Not with this, a video guide. It'll let them see what's on 7 days into the future, or what's on right now. It'll give them instant news and sports scores. And with just one touch, they'll even be able to tape record their favorite television shows. Don't forget the tape.
So what do you think they'd call this video guide?
Video guide. It's about time.
Put on a yellow slicker today, and you're wearing team colors for either Purdue or Michigan. Welcome back to Ann Arbor. Joel Myers along with Todd Christensen. First and 10 of the 43 for the Boilermakers. Inside of 10 minutes left of the contest. Tresker finally has some time and throws it short of the intended target, looking for Charlie Stevens, who's tied in.
Same situation. The receiver's trying to beg for that ball, but the ball hit the grass.
Tough day for Tresker, 3 for 8. Tough day for the ground game of the Purdue Boilermakers, and they had to have a big day on the ground.
Absolutely. You can see there 11 plays, 13 yards. A great deal of that is because of the poor field position and the weather, but it's the running game, as you pointed out. I mean, you can see, we mentioned at the top of the show, 252 yards a game, first in the Big Ten. The defense for Michigan has been outstanding, only 34 yards thus far today for the entire Purdue.
2nd and 10 situation. Wind to the back of the Boilermakers finally in the fourth quarter. Tresker with time on disposal, wide open receiver once again. He had Alford that time, his favorite target so far this season.
Well, he got some pressure that time. Ben Huff, the defensive tackle, was in his face, but now that's back-to-back hook patterns from each side of the field that they've attempted. And as you mentioned, both cases the receivers were open, but Tresker's not been able to deliver.
So after starting his last 2 drives at his own 3-yard line, at his own 5-yard line, and the start at the 5 resulted in the safety. Now Tresker has it at the 43, but he's looking at a 3rd and 10. 3rd and long has been the order of the day, unfortunately, for Purdue. Tresker, little floater. Stevens had to wait for it. If he catches him in stride as the official slides down across the way, the ball to the midfield stride, it looked like if he catches him in stride, he may be able to get the boundary.
Yeah, what Michigan did in that situation is they decided they wanted to come with the blitz, which surprised me considering it was 3rd and so long. Watch, the inside backers are going to come on the blitz. Tresker's got his man for man. He's got it. You're right. He has to slow up just a little bit. And as a result of slowing up, Isaac Jones is not able to come up with a first down.
So now Degnan in to punt it away once again. And Amani Toomer waits back at the 10. Even with the wind at his back, it didn't make much of a difference as it sails out of bounds. Inside the 20 at the 15. 35-yard punt for Degnan. Michigan has it back when we return, leading by 5.
The big payoff is here. You waited for Willowbrook Ford's annual program car clearance, and here comes the payoff. Huge savings now on all program cars at Willowbrook Ford. Look, 95 Mustangs from $11,995. 95 Tauruses and T-Birds, your choice from $12,995. 95 Windstars from $15,995, and many more models, all fully equipped, winterized, and ready to roll. Right here, right now, at easy-to-get-to Willowbrook Ford, just off I-55 on Route 83.
Planning a party? DeCarlo's Armanetti Fine Wines and Liquors will deliver whatever you need in order to make any occasion special. DeCarlo's can provide you with everything in beverages, mixers, plastic glassware, ice cooler tubs, and more. DeCarlo's experienced managers will help you select the brand and quantities you'll need. And DeCarlo's will deliver your supplies at your convenience, and you may return any unopened merchandise.
Enjoy your favorite Miller beer on special now.
Only at DeCarlo's Armanetti Liquors in Willowbrook.
Your nose looks a little bit better. Who's the toughest guy you ever played against? Toughest guy you ever played against?
I would be inclined to say Lawrence Taylor.
This year's Winston Cup chase is down to its last lap. But before they give the crown to Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt from NASCAR Field will be running hard in Atlanta to see who'll take the last checkers of 95. The Napa 500, tomorrow at 12:40, only on ESPN.
The situation here in the Grand Strand, the front is moving in. The good news is the golfers are still out on the course. It's 3rd round action. Jim Colbert even par, hanging on to his lead. We've got golf coming up in the season-ending Energizer Senior Tour Championship.
Old man Winters shut down the 2 offensive units of Michigan and Purdue. 5-0 lead for the Boilermakers, and it had to happen. Todd Nye in Ann Arbor. Well, last time, Greasy is throwing on first down, and he's got his back underneath, wide open across the 30, Chris Howard, and they pick up the first down all the way to the 34. ESPN's presentation of college football is being brought to you this afternoon by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead. That's a big play in this game.
It is.
Huge play.
Yeah, it is. They caught him in the zone defense, crossing pattern, got the back underneath. O'Connor is a little bit deep in his drop, able to pick up 19 yards. We should make an addendum to that note with regards to 1900, the last Wolverine team to score 5 points. That was the last Wolverine football team to score 5. I thought we should mention that.
8.5 and counting left in the contest. Breathing room now for Michigan, working into the wind in the fourth quarter. Howard has a huge hole straight up the gut for another first down. He's right at the marker near the 45. Burrows, a strong safety, forced to make the play in the secondary.
Well, we've been talking about the fatigue factor with regards to Purdue, and evidently this is where it's starting to happen. Take a look at the middle. Payne does a great job right there, pushing off. And you know what? That really is what it is, Joel. I mean, the people from Purdue are just getting tired.
Well, as long as Purdue held the ball last week, it'll be interesting at the end of this contest because Purdue had the ball for 42 minutes against Wisconsin in their last matchup last Saturday. And it's the other extreme for Purdue this afternoon. First down, Michigan. Plenty of room for Mercury Hayes to stiff arm to get away from Coleman. And he's got another first down to the 32. Put the stiff arm actually on 4, Derek Winston, not 14, Coleman, before he's forced out by the free safety, Brown.
Well, just as I've been critical of Fred Jackson, the offensive coordinator of Michigan, for some of his play calling, now you have to like what he's done here. Out of nowhere, everybody's expecting they're going to run up the middle again. Instead, he gets the quick pitch out to Hayes. Hayes with a stiff arm on Winston, and as a result, gets an extra 20 yards.
So 3 consecutive first downs for the Wolverines. They haven't had big players like this since we saw that run from Tim Biakabatuka, that 37-yarder early in the first half. The running back can't get out of the backfield there. Chris Floyd loses a yard. We head to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Muddy field, reminiscent of that Flutie game against BC in 1984. That's the last time Boston College beat Miami. Looks like it'll stay that way. Danielle Ferguson, career-high 143 yards last week. Career-high 146 already today, including this 85-yard touchdown. Canes up 14.
I'm telling you, he's got some wheels. Just that burst in midfield.
Top second half of the season for Dan Henning's squad lately.
Yeah, it really is.
So now 2nd and 10. They'll give him back to the original line of scrimmage on the run by Floyd. The new running back taking over the single set is Clarence Williams on 2nd and 10. And Williams can't get away from Derek Brown that time. Takes it down to the 29.
I like Derek Brown's run support, even though he had the personal foul. He's been doing an outstanding job today.
Plenty of close games this year for Michigan. When you look at the Northwestern game, the very first game of the year where they won it on the final play to Mercury Hayes, beating Virginia by 1. They lose last week by 3. And here another tight one, a 5-0 lead for Michigan.
Purdue really has struggled. You know, it's the same situation, close games. I'm sure there's a couple of games they wish they could have had back, particularly Minnesota and Penn State. Both games they feel they should have won.
It's 3rd and 6 for the Wolverines. The short drop by Greasy, almost picked off by the corner Derek Winston. He could have gone the distance as the tight end was the target, Remersma.
Yeah, you know what? It's one of those situations where you're so grateful that the guy just got his hand on the ball. Winston is not fooled at all. He sees how it's going to develop. Now, if Remersma does not get that finger on the ball right there, it's distracted just enough to where Winston can't come up with it. In other words, you're right. He goes the distance. We've got ourselves a 6 or 8-5 game.
Wolverines aren't going to try a 45, 46-yard field goal. Instead, they'll go for it on 4th and 6. Here's to the wide side. Toomer over to the short side. Will they get it off in time? Just barely. And it's dropped in the flat by the back, Ed Davis.
You know what, Joel? That's the lack of savvy by the quarterback. Even if he catches the ball, he's not going to get the first down. You've got to throw the ball downfield and take a chance, because at this point, 4th and 5, if it gets picked, big deal. You've got to take a shot at it, and he didn't. He looks downfield. There's Hayes on the hook. O'Keefer is right in the zone, does a great job, and he's out in the flat. Even if he catches the ball, he's going to be right on top of him for the tackle.
So they fail on 4th down for the 2nd time in this half. A huge difference in offensive productivity, but not a huge difference on the scoreboard. And plenty of time left for the Boilermakers. They take over for their own 29.
And you know what, Joe? We should also mention with 6:58 left, there's still plenty of time to run the ball. Even though they haven't been successful, that would be something that might fool Michigan at this point because clearly they've loosened up.
Watson, the tailback on the toss sweep. Out to the 30 for yard and a half, and that is it. So second and long coming up. We remind you ESPN2's complete coverage of college football with the scores, highlights, interviews all coming your way with Sports Night. The college football edition at 6. Then at 7, Wisconsin and Minnesota. Another Big Ten matchup. It's all on ESPN2 later today. Second and long and third and long. To the story for Purdue, and this is a 2nd and 9. Tight end available across the 35 to the 36. It's taken in by Blackman. We check in again with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Joe, Virginia was down 11-0, but they've scored 18 unanswered. Tiki Barber and Kevin Brooks doing the job on the ground. That's Brooks from 5 yards out. 15 of those 18 Virginia points off Maryland interception.
So after a slow beginning, the Cavaliers starting to come alive.
Now, Barber had something, he was 2 yards short of being the all-time Virginia rusher. Needless to say, he's already done that.
3rd and 2. Allstott came in, needing only 35 yards to become the Boilermakers' all-time leading rusher today, but I don't think he's close to 35. As Tretzker with the blitz coming up the middle, can't get rid of it. He does finally, but it's low for the tight end again, Blackman. So they can't convert on 3rd, a little more than 2, almost 3.
Tretzker actually does an outstanding job of getting the ball off at all. Jared Irons coming on the blitz. Take a look. This is what's called the Bullets blitz, where both inside backers come. Allstott's able to bump him off just enough. That's actually a great play by, as I mentioned, by Tretzker just to get rid of the thing, and now Purdue vacillating as to what to do here on 4th and 2. They decide to kick.
It's been an ugly second half for the Boilermakers offensively. There's 6 possessions. 4 have been 3 and out with a punt. One didn't even go free. It was an interception by Woodson of Michigan in the first possession, and then only 1 snap. The safety by Thompson on the corner blitz. Degnan, low-line driver. And this time Toomer's going to have the opportunity from the 16. They've got a bounce across the 25, so decent operating position now when we come back for the Wolverines at their own 27, up by 5.
Over the past 3 years, Dodge has offered a choice of more new nameplates than anybody else. Here are 3 more new choices, but they aren't cars. They are 3 choices that make it easier for you to drive a new Dodge. Choose from generous cash incentives or exceptional interest rates or extremely low lease rates. The Dodge Buyer's Choice Sale. Why would you choose to buy anyplace else?
Oh, you didn't get tomatoes?
Nah, I've been kind of on a rut lately, you know. I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. Whopper, no tomatoes.
Change your pace.
Exactly.
Expecting a weave and you bob.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking zig, use egg.
Yeah.
You're a bold man.
The Whopper. It always tastes great because it's always fixed your way, with fries and a drink for just $2.99 every day at Burger King.
So, you out of your rut?
I believe I am.
You're rutless.
Enough with the ruts.
You've been ejected from the Rutmobile. No ruts, no glory.
Mother Boyle and son Tim demonstrate their Columbia Parker's radial sleeves and zip-out liner. The Columbia Interchange System adapts to any outdoor situation.
Some hardy souls at Michigan Stadium, and you've got to be. A hardy bunch to still be here at this point. 5-0 ball game, 5:24 left. Now, to the Wolverines take some time off the clock. The tailback going nowhere is Clarence Williams. True freshman on a cash check in Detroit.
Now Purdue has to take some chances here defensively. They're going to have to come with some blitzes, and even though they don't want to do it with those 2 wide receivers, they're going to have to go with some man coverage. Now the pressure then becomes comes upon the shoulders of Brian Greasy to be able to pick that up, because they've got to go with the 8-man front here, because they know that Michigan's just trying to run the clock out.
And every first down, just about 90 seconds off the clock with a fresh set for the Wolverines. Second and 8 situation coming up. All 3 timeouts remaining for Purdue as well as Michigan. Nice run again by Chris Howard. He was the featured back in the last possession. He takes it to the 33, near the 34, brought down by Craig Williams.
The very thing that I was talking about didn't transpire, and that's that they decided that they had 4 deep in the secondary, which I don't understand. You can't have 7 in the box here. You know that Michigan is going to run the ball. Purdue, in that case, had 4 people in the secondary. I don't understand that. Take a look back here. You've got 3 safety. You've only got 7 up front, and as a result, you've got a 6-7-yard gain. This is where Purdue has to take some chances. They've got to come up with some people in the box. Go man on the outside. They cannot afford to let Michigan get a first down.
So the biggest third down of the contest for the Wolverines to hang on to the ball inside of 4 minutes to play. They've got the cushion in the corner. Tilmer makes the grab for the first down. It especially helps when your quarterback Coleman slips down.
Well, not only slips down, but again, he's 8-9 yards off the ball. That's an absolute gimme for Greasy and Toomer. Toomer is somebody that certainly has to be frustrated this year. Toomer was a guy last year, 1,096 yards, set a receiving record for Michigan and led the Big Ten. This year, he has struggled as a result of the quarterback changes, but right there, certainly a big catch for a first down for Michigan.
And a break after the first down for Purdue because they have not restarted the clock after setting the chains. It is still stopped at 3:47. First and 10 from the 43.
Right guard move.
Dead ball foul coming up against the offense.
This is the sort of thing that just drives a coach crazy.
Other scores from around the country.
Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalties. Clock operator. 3, 4, 4 stops.
Take a look at the right guard. Joe Marinero is the guy that's going to move. You saw him right there. Move a little bit too soon. And the official is right. No time should have come off the clock, and it was at 3:47. So as you pointed out, Joel, they went out of, even though Toomer made the catch, he was out of bounds. Clock does not restart. Now they come up first and 15. Jim Coletta now has to be thinking about the possibility of using his timeouts this series.
They shut down Jim Coletto's ground game. That's the biggest problem for the Boilermakers today. The lowest total on the ground, 143 yards earlier this year. They haven't broken the 50-yard mark on the ground today. Little razzle-dazzle, yes. Mercury Hayes on the reverse. They were worried about it. Hall couldn't make the stop. It's across the midfield stripe and close to a first down. He is just inside the 48, needed to go near the 47. Hall read it very well. He just lost his footing.
Yeah, he did. That was tough in the open field. This is one of the most conservative razzle-dazzle plays. Look at how careful the handoffs are. If you notice that their 26 did it with 2 hands to make sure that he got it. And as you mentioned, you saw the footing. Hall just skates down. He's not able to make the play. Hayes just a little bit short, I believe.
2 carries, 26 yards for Mercury Hayes, the senior from Washington High School in Houston. And by a couple of inches, he will come up short. But it's only second down coming up for the Wolverines at the same time. After the mark-off, it was first and 15.
Once again, you got to give Fred Jackson, offensive coordinator for Michigan, some credit with that because you had to figure that, wait, you know, in this kind of weather, you might not want to risk those kind of handoffs. As we mentioned, the 2-handed handoff by Davis enabled Mercury Hayes to be safe enough to get close to the first down.
And after Michigan picks up the first down, Todd, a decision to be made for Jim Coletto and his staff because they've got all 3 timeouts left. Do they start using them now?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't think they have a choice because after they get this first down, with now, if he gets the first down, it'll be 3:30 and the clock running. I think he has to.
The second and inches inside the 48 of the Boilermakers. And Ed Davis is the single set. Davis gets the first down. Not much more, though. He's down inside the 47. Rochelle tripping him up. solid day up front again for Jamie Washell, and the coaches told us earlier in the week playing the best football of his Purdue career. He's a senior from Greenwood, Indiana. 3-year starter.
Well, he certainly had a great day today. The running attack, in fairness, of course, to Michigan with Biaka Batuka with the calf strain coming out. The running backs by committee have not damaged the front of Purdue.
Those 2 first downs came in the first half. Purdue does not have a first down. Actually, they've got one in the second half, one in the first half. Davis will stay inbounds. That's the ultimate situation now as Bob O'Connor wraps up the running back. And will Purdue stop it? Yes, they use the first timeout. We'll take a timeout and head over to Mike Tirico. Mike?
Okay, Joe, we'll send you up to Boston, where Miami's 14-0 lead is no more. 69-yard drive. Steve Everson, 3 yards, fights it over the goal line to get in. BC now down just 7, trying to hold Miami. Meantime, in Evanston, that first drive of the second half score by the Wildcats standing up. They lead Iowa by 4 in the 4th.
Still, what a comeback, Mike, by Iowa to make it that tight and lead to that point where Northwestern got that touchdown to finally take the lead early in the 4th quarter after what Illinois did to Iowa last Saturday on ESPN. College hoops, are you ready for Dickie V? I don't know about you, but I am. Preseason NIT on ESPN. Full slate. It all begins on Wednesday. Manhattan, Georgia Tech, DePaul, Michigan, Weber State, Fresno State. The Shark is back. Jerry Tarkanian's first game at Fresno State. And then at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2, Long Beach State and Arizona. 400 college basketball games on ESPN and ESPN2 this year. Get ready, you hoopaholics. It is going to be a great, great time. As usual, college basketball already here. And boy, they've got some players. They've got a young man coming into Michigan. Michigan, a definite top 20 candidate this year.
He's a bruiser. Who do you like? You think Kentucky?
Well,
you like Kentucky?
Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA. Maryland's got a good squad.
Anybody can say that. I'm asking you, who do you like?
Kentucky.
Okay.
Tough not to like Kentucky this year. 5-0, Michigan up. 2:47 left. A 2nd and 9 coming up for Large Carr squad. And they're down to the 2 timeouts remaining. 2 timeouts left now for Purdue. Do you take a chance with your sophomore quarterback and put it up, or do you force them just to use all their timeouts?
Well, the way the corners have been playing for Purdue, I really like that hitch route.
2nd and 9. Play it safe with Ed Davis. And the defensive back coming up, making the play. It was Derek Brown, the free safety.
Now, see, this is what I don't understand. Shouldn't they know by now that they're going to call timeout? That costs them about 5-6 seconds.
2:35 left. Purdue down to their final timeout.
The human face, a landscape, difficult terrain where certain hairs grow taller, longer. Introducing a revolutionary 3-stage shaving system. Braun Flex Integral. The first foil removes short hairs. An integrated cutter shaves longer hairs. And the second foil completes the job. New Flex Integral. For Braun's closest shave yet. Braun, the world's most recognized shave.
Research has shown that if you keep an animal in a small space for an extended period of time, he will become an animal. But put him in a big room with comfortable furniture, full kitchen, and a home-like atmosphere, and he'll become almost human. Something to consider on your next extended business trip. Residence Inn by Marriott. The next best thing to home.
At Northwest Airlines, we're taking fares as low as we can.
Save up to 50% on select Northwest fares to select cities across the U.S. and Canada.
There.
If you like sludge, this is the place to be. Welcome back to Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. Joel Myers along with Todd Christensen. Been tough to get your footing today. It's a 3rd and 6. They're only 4 of 18 on 3rd downs. They picked the double reverse, and Davis inside the 40 came up just about a yard short of where he needed to go. He's at the 38. They need to go down inside the 37. O'Connor combining with Crick on that stop, and a huge one for Purdue.
It really is, and it'll be interesting here to see what the decision is with regards to Michigan. Good call again by Fred Jackson with the fake reverse. Davis cuts up field. Crick, as you mentioned on the tackle, he's going to be a yard short.
Now, while they deliberate on 4th down, let's check in again with Mike Tirico. Mike?
We'll take this time out to remind you that golf is coming up at 3 Eastern, the Energizer Senior Tour Championship. Let's get you updated on some scores right now in the top 25. Northwestern holding on to that 4-point lead. They've lost their linebacker, Fitzgerald. Florida State, North Carolina just recovered an onside kick. Virginia has scored 21 unanswered to lead their game. Other games include Clemson looking for 4 in a row. Their defense has been great. K-State up 2 touchdowns. Scoreless in the second, Missouri and Colorado. Arkansas, early lead over Southwest Louisiana. Alabama, 14 unanswered. Virginia Tech, 2 defensive scores in their lead over Temple. And some other games include Alex Smith of Indiana, who ran for, I think, 22 first-half carries in the first quarter, I should say. That's an NCAA record, but Indiana's still down 17. Send it back to Joel in Ann Arbor.
All right, Mike. Jim Coletto's Purdue Boilermakers out of timeouts now, and a decision for Lloyd Carr's Wolverines. They go for it on 4th at a yard and a half. They pick up the first down. It's essentially over.
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, the way Purdue has struggled offensively, that's what they've got to be considering here, and that's exactly what they are going to do. The offense is going on the field.
So Brian Greasy leading the offensive unit out. In the backfield, George Howells, the fullback, Ed Davis, the tailback on 4th and a little more than a yard. And now he's going to change the play. The audible has been called.
Come on, call a play. Call a play. Do something.
Instead, he calls a timeout. Todd Christensen loves it.
Shoot. Well, you know what? You knew that was going to happen. It's
Trying to get him
the
offside.
offside thing.
Well, today's Kelly Springfield players of the game. First from Purdue, the defensive tackle. Whale of the game for Jamie Weichel. And from Michigan, good bloodlines. Jared Irons.
It's not just the tackles and tackle for loss, but the fact that Mike Allstott not only didn't get 100 yards or anywhere near his average, it was the fact that he didn't break Purdue's record, 35 yards.
And Kelly Springfield is proud to donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund on behalf of these fine scholar athletes. So now, Michigan will punt the ball away. Much to the chagrin, I might add, of the faithful here at Michigan Stadium. They wanted to see their team go for it on 4th down.
And your broadcast partner.
You really like the call.
I'm just weary of the hut.
Well, we're going to see Nate DeLong, the sophomore's first punt of the day. They've been going to Ferris Harris all day long. Back deep. It is going to be Olivadotti. We've not seen Allen back there since he bumped that one that was recovered at the 2 by Michigan. Olivadotti, the senior, Cooper City, Florida, the son of Tom Olivadotti, the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. Angling it for the sideline. It stays down the middle, and it dies for the Wolverines at the 9.
Great kick.
So it's tucked at the 9. Good coverage on the special teams for Michigan. And it will take a 91-yard drive for the Boilermakers, but they do have plenty of time. And don't forget, coming up next, final of the year, the Senior PGA Tour Championship right after our football in Ann Arbor. Second-round leader Jim Colbert up by 3 over Ioki and 5 on top of Wargo and Irwin. So stick around. Great golf from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, right after our college football on ESPN.
You know, for somebody that hasn't done anything all day long, you got to say that that's a pretty big deal to come in there in one time. See Nate DeLong right there come in and pin him inside the 10-yard. That's got to be a great feeling for that youngster.
The two-way player Carr gets set in his stance. The member of the front 4 for the Wolverines. We've also seen her in the offensive backfield. Kretschmer on first down from the 9. Short gain to the 14. Taking it in, Olivadotti on that side, but again had to stop and wait. Put down by the safety. Woodson was over there as well, the cornerback. So now 2nd and 5 from the 14. Plenty of time, running inside of 2 minutes left.
Joel, for a team that's used to running the ball close to 40 times a game, it's obvious that the 2-minute drill is not their forte.
Ball starts, offense.
Not exactly what they needed. It'll be 2nd and 10. 83 yards offensively today. Miserable day weather-wise, but Michigan has been able to cope a lot better than Purdue. Let's give credit to the Purdue defense. One of the best in the Big Ten, especially in stopping the run. They set up the screen to Allstott. Allstott waiting. And he's going to be buried short of the 10. They're out of timeouts, and it's down to 90 seconds left in the game.
Well, Jared Irons came through that completely untouched, and even though he didn't make the tackle, he was the guy that was there first to get in the way. It's not a bad call, but you got to block it.
So now 3rd and 9 from the 10. Good protection for the quarterback. He's got Alford. He's at the 25 and almost breaks it to the boundary. What a tackle by Charles Woodson. First down, Purdue.
You're right. That was a huge tackle, Joel, because they had the momentum, and the Maize and Blue are going in the other direction. If Woodson doesn't make that tackle, he's at least in midfield.
Michigan by only 5. Stops the clock momentarily for the movement of the chains for the first down. Tretzker underneath as Olivedani. Can he get to the boundary? Yes, he gets out of bounds across the 40 at the 41.
He was able to do that because Woodson slipped down. He had the short hook route, and of course it only picked up about 8 yards, but what it did do is it stopped the clock and moved them forward a little bit. Woodson slipped down on the play.
A bunch of what-ifs if Purdue sustains a drive here. And Lloyd Carr had the opportunity to go for it on 4th down. Todd Christensen was talking about it. Yard and a half. They decided not to. They could have run out the clock because Purdue had used all their timeouts. Now exactly 60 seconds left. And a second and short for the Boilermakers. Dump it off. That's Watson, the tailback. He's going to be short of the first down. Barely got back to the original line. And don't forget, they can't stop the clock. He didn't get out of bounds. Feasel making the big play.
Yeah, I really don't like that call, not just because they didn't get it, but if for whatever reason they did get it, all the people are scattered all over the field. They'd have a very difficult time getting back.
They're now 3rd and along 2, almost 3. Olivedani, will he get there? No. Woodson will make sure he doesn't get out of bounds. He gets the first down to stop it momentarily. It'll restart when they move the chains, though, from the 45.
You know, for a true freshman, he is making some heady plays, not only preventing him from going out of bounds, but almost stripping the ball. Woodson is having an outstanding day. Don't forget, he had that great pick earlier.
Inside of 30 seconds and counting, Olivedani coming up lame on the near side, and that's going to cost Purdue time.
Well, now you have to question that because of all of a sudden he fell down like a drunken sailor. Then suddenly he's up and sprinting to the sidelines. No wonder the crowd's booing.
Tretzker spikes it, stops the clock. Only 17 seconds remaining.
Does that fall under the heading of gamesmanship, Joel?
Well, I thought maybe it was a leg injury, maybe a cramp or something like that, because he went down and he grabbed the back of his, like his hamstring. But then all of a sudden, boom, a sprinter.
It was a 2.5-second cramp.
Senior Tour Championship coming up next on ESPN. Still, the big play, the possibility there for Jim Coletto with 17 seconds left. The 2nd and 10. No real deep center field right now for the safeties. Tretzker in trouble and on his way down. The big play made by Glenn Steele. And that may very well do it. They count it down at Michigan Stadium. And the Wolverines hang on. A shutout of the Boilermakers. Final score, Michigan 5, Purdue 0. Coming up next, the Senior PGA Tour Championship. For Todd Christensen, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Joel Myers. Thanks for joining us. So long, everybody, from Ann Arbor.